This is a 5-part live, everybody. We're going to be talking about Thomas Crooks, Bianca Ellis, Taylor Casey, Monica Williams, and Riley Strain. Thomas Crooks will be the last commentary. So if you don't want imbibe the other content, feel free to check back a little bit later. Thank you for your time. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below. Please check out my extensive library, my shorts. I have uploaded shorts pertaining to Thomas Crooks, Monica Williams, Riley Strain, Bianca Ellis, and who else am I leaving out? A lot of content. So bear with me. This live may be a bit winded. Feel free to chop it up at your discretion. Hello, scholars. Thank you for joining me, sweetheart. Thanks for the thumbs up. Welcome to the Vault XL. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BIANCA129 Cash App, stickers, and chats are welcome. Once again, this will probably be a winded live stream because I have 5 people to discuss. And Thomas Crooks will probably be the most lengthy, so I'm saving him for last. Thank you for joining me. I'm a little bit behind on the content, so that's why I'm putting everybody in the live stream at one time to knock down my time. Thank you so very much. The first content is pertaining to Bianca Ellis. She's been accused of first-degree murder of a 3-year-old boy child, Julian. This happened in a parking lot, a grocery store parking lot. We're going to go back in time to her arrest, how she came to be arrested. Then we're going to bring you all the way up to her current pretrial hearing. She may also be facing the death penalty. Please take the polls on my community page. During this live stream, you will be getting video visuals, and I also will read from my community page so everything can run simultaneously during the live stream. Thank you for your time. Welcome to the Vault XL. Enjoy the ride. Thank you, everybody.
Never understand why a woman allegedly stabbed a 3-year-old boy and his mom at Giant Eagle on Monday, but we do know the alleged attacker had been arrested in that same area 4 days before that. Police have released a video of that arrest. Dan DeRose joining us now with that. And police have to really investigate all of this, Dan, as they try to get justice for this family. And people may ask at home, why are we continuing this story? It's because there are so many questions. Who is this person? How could it be done at random and with no association with the mom or that 3-year-old little boy? Who is Bianca Ellis? We know that the attack happens right here in North Olmsted in the Giant.
Let me interject right here. I find it interesting that he says, why are we covering this? Did somebody complain? It is breaking news. It does not matter who did what to whom, the race, the gender. It is breaking news. So if someone had a complaint about this story, come on now. You want to know who's in your community and what they're doing. If they have been arrested, their past offenses, you should want to know that. So I'm wondering if somebody complained about the news covering the story. Is it because she's an African-American female unalived a 3-year-old white child? Because why would he say that during this broadcast? Because I find it interesting he would say that. Let's continue.
Eagle parking lot, but it's 4 days prior. So we're talking last Monday that right here on this corner, it's actually this corner right here out front of the Walmart, that police have an interaction with Bianca Ellis. She is in a wheelchair. She can walk herself in her wheelchair. Someone has called 911 saying she looked like she may need some help. Officers find her on the sidewalk there, have an interaction with her. They get her ID, but it turns out she has a warrant for her arrest. Now, you're about to watch this interaction with police. You can judge for yourself. I've seen hundreds of arrests on tape, and this one seems to be fairly routine.
Hello. Are you all right? Yeah, I'm going over here to the bus stop. You're okay, though? Somebody called because they were concerned about you. Yeah, I kind of... 5221, I'm out. You need assistance at all? Or you need an ambulance or anything? Are you feeling all right?
No, I think the temperatures is getting to be just right.
Okay. Do you have an ID on you just so I can tell them that you're all right? Thank you. Copy. All right, Bianca. Bianca. You know you got warrants. Girl, I don't know. They're
probably for you.
yeah, so we gotta check on those, all right? You got anything crazy on you? No guns, knives, drugs, bombs, nothing like that? All right, I'm gonna cuff you in the front, okay? That's fair? Go ahead, face me for a second. Right here. Thank you, ma'am. I'll pinch you.
As you saw, she went willingly, didn't interact with police in any strange way. She was taken into custody. She was transported to where that warrant was out of. It was a probation violation warrant. She hadn't completed a class on a theft charge, and that's why she had a warrant out for arrest. It wasn't anything violent, but it is that interaction with police on Thursday, right here, that brings her back to the police department, which is right here on Monday. You're going to see that in new video just released today. A little bit of strange behavior at the police station just a half an hour before the attack at Giant Eagle. That's coming up at 4. Nikki?
All right, Dan, thank you. And we are learning more about the funeral arrangements for 3-year-old Julian Wood, affectionately known as Juju. His visitation is tomorrow from 2 until 8 p.m. at the Ropepi Funeral Home on Pearl Road in Parma. His funeral is Saturday at 11 a.m. at St. Charles Borromeo Church that's on Ridge Road in Parma. And we know people throughout our community have the Woods family in their thoughts and prayers dealing with this unthinkable loss. We are letting our viewers share their condolences, their messages of love and support for the family. Hundreds have come in so far. If you'd like to share one, you can use this QR code on your screen. It'll link you to the page, or you can head to cleveland19.com. Year-old boy and his
Let's stop right there.
And his
Sorry
mom
about that. Juju was his affectionate nickname. Condolences once again to his mom, Miss Margot. Why did Bianca choose this female and boy child on that fateful day? Why did she choose them in that store? Some will say it's racism. I say possibly not, because of what we've seen in court. Her behavior, there's something wrong with her. I don't know what she has been diagnosed with. There's something wrong with Bianca. Why I say this is because she stole the knives out of a thrift store. So common sense would tell you that in the thrift store, there are white people. There are white people in the stores. So you walk out of a store with white people, with the knives concealed, walk out of the store, more white people outside, walk through a parking lot, more white people, walk in another grocery store, more white people, black people, whomever. And then she walks past that young lady and her son going out of the grocery store, and poop, 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 whoop, turns right around like she knew them. Very strange. Of course, they're saying that they don't have any connection to one another. That's per the news and whoever's investigating this case. But that's my point, is that how many white people did she pass from stealing the knives to walking out of that store where she stole the knives, parking lot, white people, next door, white people. She walks through the store in the area where people would be coming out from checking out, and then she sees a white lady and a baby, a toddler, and then follows behind them. Why this family? Why Margot and her son? Is it because what? Some people will say it's racism. Is it? Because like I said, she left a place where there were, I'm sure, tons of white people where she stole the knives. Make it make sense. Does she have a mental problem? I think she does. She has had a hearing in court, and she has been deemed incompetent to stand trial for murder of baby Juju. Okay? She has been deemed incompetent. So that means somebody has assessed her in the court's judicial process that she is not mentally fit to stand trial. So then you're going to ask yourself, what is the diagnosis? What is wrong with her? Does she know right from wrong? As you see, police approached her in a very diplomatic fashion. No hindrance of getting her to justice, warning her of her warrants. She also recently been in a police department trying to get something she thinks they stole from her It's very interesting information. All this content is on the Queen's community page, and that's where I'm going into the belly of the beast to bring you all content for this live stream. Thank you for joining me. If you need verification for anything, everything is right here in the live stream on my page. As you see right there, I reshared that. North Olmsted police video shows officers arresting her. They have now released security video of her walking to and fro, but they will not show you the actual attack, naturally out of respect for the victim and his mother. But I have seen this video 4 months ago, so many people will probably be like, well, we don't really see the attack, but naturally somebody would complain if you showed the actual attack of the said child, and I don't really think you want to see. Of course, there are some morbid people who would want to see the attack of the baby boy, but they are not, because naturally they would probably get sued for showing that said information. But let's go into the belly of the beast right here, pertaining to Bianca and what transpired on that fateful day. Thank you for joining me. Brief commercial. Thank you for joining me. Everybody's got to get their money. Welcome to the Vault XL. This is live number 2. Thank you. Well, if I can get the volume.
It's a better idea of what happened that afternoon.
Yeah, because there are so many questions. Well, right now, a memorial is growing outside of Giant Eagle where 3-year-old Julian Wood was killed and his mom was injured. Police say Bianca Ellis stabbed both of them in a random act of violence.
Both of them,
Today,
I'm sorry.
North
Both of
Olmsted
them,
Police
sorry.
releasing new video showing the moments leading up to the horrific attack. Now, we are not showing the actual attack, but we still want you to know that we should warn you that parts of the video may be upsetting to watch. New video shedding light on the 30 minutes before a deadly stabbing in North Olmsted Monday. The video showing Bianca Ellis walking into the police station there around 2:30 that afternoon. She's pushing her own wheelchair with a suitcase. Detective Sergeant Matt Beck.
I have to stop here because I found this so crazy. And I've seen this recently with someone. 1 minute they're walking, the next minute they're in a wheelchair, then the next minute Queen sees them, they got their damn dog in a wheelchair and they're walking. So I'm like, okay, are you handicapped? You hurt? They gave you the wheelchair because you had surgery? What the hell's really going on? So here you have her wheeling her wheelchair into the police department to consort with them about items not returned to her with her property when she got out of jail. So did they steal from her, or is it just her hallucinating? I don't know. But I found it so strange, her wheeling her wheelchair into the police precinct, because you don't see that every day, okay? I'm not trying to make light of the situation. I'm talking about her behavior right here. It's kind of like going to the grocery store and see somebody pushing that heavy-ass hover-around thing in the grocery store, and you're thinking, are you going to get in the chair, or why are you pushing this? You see somebody in a wheelchair, you're saying the same thing. Well, do you need the wheelchair or you don't need the wheelchair? What's really going on here? Do you need your chair? And then you saw her in that same chair with her suitcase and the police approaching her, asking her her name, asking her how she's doing. We're doing a welfare check, so on and so forth. And then you go from that to this, because naturally that incident was after this incident here of her being in the police precincts. So this incident here is before the arrest. But you're asking yourself, if you're paying attention, she can walk. It's kind of like, it's a miracle. She can walk. You know how you used to see those Christian programs where the people would roll up in a wheelchair and say, and the preacher would start talking about their handicap, they're paralyzed, and then all of a sudden, they put their hand on their head and they say, you are healed. And then you, poof, voila, see the person get up out of the wheelchair. That's kind of like what's going on here.
confirms she was there in connection with a previous nonviolent case. Ellis then makes her way to the Volunteers of America thrift store.
No wheelchair.
Police say she stole 2 knives, then briefly stops into Bins and Things.
Where was the
before
wheelchair?
Walking into Giant Eagle. At 2:58, she walks past the service desk with the knife waving by her. No one appears to see it. Then we see her walking near the cash registers.
Oh, they saw it.
Again, no one appears to see or react to the knife. She then passes Margot Wood and her 3-year-old son, Julian. Ellis immediately turns around and starts to follow them. Cameras show just 3 p.m., Ellis walked into the lobby and follows behind the mother and son as they exit the store. Cameras then show her following them through the parking lot and to their car.
Let's stop right there. Where is the wheelchair, Bianca? Bianca, where did you park the wheelchair? Because this is bizarre behavior, which would lead someone to think she knows somewhat, what am I trying to say? She's lucid to some capacity. She's lucid to some, Skylar. Well, Skylar will keep it real. She's lucid to some capacity because you're in a store stealing. So we've got to say that you had to have walked in there, stole the items on foot. You walk out of that store, and this is where you see her walking out of the store into the parking lot to go into the next store, which would be where the attack took place. So where is the wheelchair part? Come on, you guys. Let's keep it real. You know the queen keeps it real. Where did she park the wheelchair? Bianca, where did you park the wheelchair? Why did you get out of the wheelchair? Because when I first heard the story, I said, this don't sound right. I said, a woman is in a wheelchair stabbing a woman and her baby in a parking lot? So then they showed the video that I just showed you of her in the wheelchair. So she goes from walking, stabbing, back in the wheelchair. Help me understand. Somebody help the queen out. Hello, Stockton. Thank you for joining me, sweetheart. We have somebody walking out of a store stealing knives. Where does she hide the knives? Because as you see in the video I showed you, she doesn't have a purse. She doesn't have a backpack, shopping bag. So she took the knives and what? Stuck them in her underwear, undergarments, under her bra, what? Well, I don't think she wears a bra because you've seen her. She has some very big breasts. And even, naturally you don't wear a bra in jail. She didn't seem to have a bra on in that wheelchair when they stopped her on the corner of that street. What the hell is going on here? Where was the wheelchair when she stole the knives? Where was the wheelchair when she walked out of the store with the knives to the next store to stab the lady and her son? Make it make sense.
North Olmsted police say Ellis's family says she had an apartment in Cleveland but had not been there for a while. She had clothes and makeup in that suitcase. Now, coming up at 5, Ellis was already known to police before the deadly stabbing. We'll have the video of her arrest just 1 day before. And Laura, still so many questions, the main one being the motive. No one seems to know what it was.
It is a heartbreaking story. We all keep just thinking about this little boy.
It's awful.
It is awful. All right, Lena, thank you for that most updated information. Meantime, funeral arrangements for Julian have been announced. Calling hours are tomorrow from 2 to 8 at Repepi Funeral Home in Parma. A mass of Christian burial is scheduled for Saturday at 11 a.m. at St. Charles Borromeo Church, also in Parma. We want to let you know there's a GoFundMe in Julian's name right now. It's raised almost $190,000 at this hour. We have a link to that.
That's a lot of money. $175,000. Wow, that's a lot of money. So people are going to ask, of course, because whenever there's a GoFundMe, people question things. Did the lady have medical insurance for herself? Naturally, it wouldn't affect her child because her child is unalive. So people would say, well, why do you need so much money? Because the mother survived. It doesn't take much to bury a small child in a casket. So, people are going to question. I dissect everything pertaining to a story. So $175,000 is a lot of money. So did this woman not have any type of medical insurance and she would need it for, aftercare paying due bills, therapy, things like that, because you do know that somebody's going to question that type of money. Because that, I must say, if all the things I've seen happen with people as far as death, untimely deaths, a GoFundMe at $175,000 is a lot of money when you have one small child. It doesn't take a lot to bury a child. Most funeral homes will offer to bury a child for free, especially under horrendous circumstances. So some may question, my goodness, what are you doing with that much money, and was it necessary? And most families will cut off the amount that they need. They'll just say, well, we only need this much, to bury this person, this situation, whatever. So do you think that should the GoFundMe have been cut down? Because that's a lot of money, I'm just saying. And I don't know if she has any other children or not. If she needed to be out for work, is that the reason why they kept the GoFundMe going? Weigh in, everybody.
That, if you're interested, it's posted on our website, WKYC.com.
All right, that's the commentary pertaining to Bianca Ellis unaliving a said child, Julian, and stabbing his mother, Margot Wood. It does not even seem like it's been that long. Looking at the date of the funeral shows me how much time has elapsed. That was a month and a half ago. It seems like it was longer than that. Wow, what a story. Let's continue this commentary pertaining to Bianca Ellis. I've shown her arrest while rolling in her cart, her wheelchair, video of her walking around the stores, following behind this woman for some crazy reason. What is the 411? What is the 411? Lord have mercy, Queen got a lot of stuff. Lord Jesus. Got to go back. I hope I can find it because I thought I shared everything. Sorry. Showing you everything from the Queen's postings. I got to find her content where she went to court. I thought I had it here. Hold on one second, everybody. Because I got a lot of stuff to show you. Good old Jeffersons. Welcome to the Vault Excel. Thank you for joining me. Lord, I can't find it. I thought I had it in my library. I've got so much stuff I've shared. Oh my goodness. Forgive me. This is weird. Let me type it in because it's not coming up. Hold on, everybody. Well, oh Lord. Hold on, everybody. I don't know why it's not playing. This is crazy. Oh Lord. Come on now. Well, this is weird. 1 second. I'm trying to figure out why this is not turning on.
The death penalty, there's going to have to be a lot of work done in the digital desk. We're going to be taking you into the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas for a pretrial hearing. This is into the June stabbing death of that 3-year-old little boy at Giant Eagle in North Olmsted. Julian Wood is his name. His mother was also stabbed. Julian was killed. This is a pretrial, and there's a lot of facets to this case because the accused, Bianca Ellis, is going to be potentially facing the death penalty. There's going to have to be a lot of work done in the courts before they even get to what is a December scheduled trial. So it's always interesting to see what is being discussed. Are they going to have to do a mental health evaluation? Is that a part of what today's hearing is? We'll have to wait and see. But again, this is all a part of what will lead up to a potential death penalty or a capital murder case. In the state of Ohio, when you're charged, and there is Bianca Ellis, we weren't sure if she would be making an actual appearance. We've seen some erratic behavior out of her in the past. So let's take a live listen in.
692-604, Bianca Ellis. She's present in court this morning with her counsel, Mr. Mack, Mr. Johnson, and Mr. Summers. Assistant County Prosecutor, Ms. Baralia, and Ms. Pateo are here on behalf of the state of Ohio. We're here this morning for this matter. Court's looking for a few updates from the parties as well. I'll note for the record that we did set it for trial for December 9th. Looks like we inadvertently put December 6th on the journal entry, so that in fact is a wrong date.
5 months later.
So it's in fact December 9th that the trial date is set with respect to this case. If I can go to the state of Ohio, I know there had been some discussions about discovery and where that discovery might be, as well as I think the autopsy report, and then I could go to the counsel for Ms. Ellis and hear from them. Thank you, Ms. Brawley. Good morning.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Yes, we have been complying with our discovery requirements. We have sent over documentation for the defense with regards to the autopsy. It is my understanding that it, in fact, has been completed, and the state should have it in its possession by the end of the week, and then we will transfer it over to defense counsel. In addition, the state still has some outstanding subpoenas for some additional documentation. As soon as we get that, we will turn that over as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. Mack, Mr. Johnson, if you want to be heard then this morning, I'll hear from both of you. Any concerns about that discovery or anything for the record regarding Ms. Ellis?
I don't think so.
Okay, very good. And then with respect to the
He got a 3-piece suit on. What the hell? Oh, Lord help me.
As a result of that interview, we came back to this court to petition the court to see if we could get an expert on board to interview Ms. Ellis. And that was the fact judge for the first English law. Subsequently, our expert communicated with Mr. Johnson and I and believes that at this point Ms. Ellis is incompetent and not able to assist in her defense and cannot stand trial. So we're asking the court to respectfully have her referred to North Coast Behavioral so that she can be restored if possible.
All right, Mr. Mack. I know for the state of Ohio, you know, that report is under seal as provided to counsel. They have the opportunity to have that interview, which they did. The court's unaware of that and being made today with a request to refer her to North Coast. Obviously, I'm not going to ask the state of Ohio to stipulate to something you haven't seen, but I will ask what your thoughts are about the state of Ohio either wanting the court to provide a report through our court psychiatric clinic and or whether you're going to opt to have someone else privately hired by yourself.
The state, Your Honor, at this time is going to respectfully request that she be referred to the court psychiatric clinic for evaluation under seal, and that report is to be provided to you and to the state and to the defense.
Okay.
With Amazon's low back-to-school prices,
there you have
you
it.
can spend less on school supplies, backpacks, and lunch boxes.
Sorry about that.
So that being the case, I know it's about a 30-day window. I will just say that I'll have my bailiff call there to make sure that the clinical psychologist who's in charge, Dr. Songer, is aware of the report needing to be done timely, and then also to make sure that either he or someone who has the experience be able to handle that report for this court for her determination of whether she's competent to stand trial. Regarding that, going 30 days out, I'll ask that report to be completed August 13th. We would ask the parties to be back in the court to have a discussion on what next steps might be regarding the findings from our court psychiatric clinic, as well as discussions about what would be next for Ms. Ellis if in fact they also find her to be incompetent to stand trial as well. So is the 13th something that is available on all of your calendars? So that would be August.
On behalf of the state, it's fine, Your Honor.
Yeah, on behalf of Ms. Ellis, as well.
Okay, all right, so we'll go ahead and set that date, have the parties appear here for that hearing, and then I'll refer Ms. Ellis to the court psychiatric clinic to have them make a determination of competency regarding this matter.
Look at her demeanor.
Anything further than from the state?
None, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
On behalf of Ms. Ellis, Mr. Matt.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you all for being timely, and then we'll adjourn with respect to today's call. Thank you.
Wow, nodding her head like, yep.
Andrew Rose with 19 News. As you
Weigh
just
in,
heard,
everybody.
This is all about trying to determine if Bianca Ellis is competent to stand trial. Her own attorneys that have been appointed to her by the state obviously saying that she is not competent, that they had their own professional psychologist tried to interview her. That is under seal. We're
Wow.
not sure what the questions were, what the answers were, or exactly what it is that has her own attorney saying she is incompetent. But now, as a legal matter, you can't just go on what her attorneys are saying.
True.
Of course, now the court and the state has their own psychiatric evaluation that's going to happen with a psychologist. They've asked that it happen within 30 days, be completed within 30 days. Her attorneys were trying to get her transferred to North Coast. That is a mental health facility. They're trying to, again, say that she's incompetent for trial, so let's get her to North Coast and get her some help. But the state, unfortunately, the way the judicial system works, you can't just say that and send her off. There has to be verification on both sides. That'll happen within the next 30 days, and we'll be back in court on August 13th. And that'll be an interesting pre-trial hearing as well, because once she has that evaluation from the state side, the judge will review that evaluation and could make a ruling that day whether or not she will be competent to stand trial, or if the judge is going to take some more time to review that. So we're going to follow this case. Of course, you'll remember it was 3-year-old little Julian Wood who was stabbed and killed in the parking lot, allegedly by Bianca Ellis. There is overwhelming evidence that it was her, and it's going to be a tall order for any kind of defense. But when we're talking about a capital murder case, potential death penalty case, you have to let this play out. She has rights, and she has to be given full confidence within the court system. We're going to wrap this up. If we have any other breaking news, it'll be right here on our digital platforms. Otherwise, watch for our 11 o'clock news and our noon news on CW43, then on Channel 19. I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Have a good afternoon.
All right, everybody, weigh in. What have you noticed in this commentary of her in court? Skylar said she has no remorse. Well, is she mentally incompetent? Her lawyers want her to go to this North Coast place. But as the commentator says, she needs to be evaluated before you can just send her off, because that's almost like you're just saying, well, send her there, let her stay there. The judge has to know, what her mindset is, who she is, if she's mentally incompetent. So he's decided on this state evaluation to have her evaluated to make a decision. If Bianca is mentally unstable, unfit to stand trial. I was sitting here looking at the lawyer representing her. I was like, I don't know who to laugh at more. You're sitting here with this tight jacket on, busting out with the tie, showing underneath the shirt, the jacket, baby Huey, and she's sitting here with no brassiere on. This is comical. No disrespect to the decedent, but I'm just looking at the lawyer like, you need to get a bigger jacket. Come on. She needs a bra, you need a bigger jacket. But naturally, she's incarcerated, so she's not going to have a bra. She's going into court as is. It's the way it is. You got big boom booms, no brassiere. But the lawyer, you have freedom to roam. So, what's your problem? You need a bigger coat, sir. Is she mentally incompetent? We don't know. Just a question. We hear she had her own apartment from another commentary I listened to earlier. Bianca lived on her own, I assume, but they said she had not been to that apartment in a while. What's a while? Has she been just roaming the streets as a homeless person? Has she been diagnosed before? Schizophrenia, bipolar, alternate personality? What is her diagnosis if indeed she has a mental disorder? Why did she stab that lady and her son? I forgot she had stabbed that lady because it's been a while since I've talked about this, because I talk about so many stories, they just kind of run into each other. So no disrespect to this lady, but she stabbed Margot and her son. The son succumbed to his wounds. And we now have to ask ourselves if there is something wrong with Bianca mentally. What made her choose this family to unalive the child in the parking lot? Why did she follow them out of that store? Some people think it's racially motivated. I always tell people you need to assess the situation before you come to a conclusion it's racial, because we don't know her from a can of paint. We don't know her struggles. We don't know what's going on with her. We don't know if she's mentally defunct. We don't know. So I'm not here to say it's racial. I'm not here to even say she has a mental problem. I'm just saying I'm bringing you the information at hand. August 13th, they will have another hearing pertaining to Bianca Ellis to determine if she is able to stand trial for unaliving this baby boy. It is a horrific story. And naturally, you don't want to hear of someone being unalived or a child being unalived. But the reason why I said I didn't think that it was racial, because she was already in a store with white people stealing the knife. She could have easily stolen a knife, just started stabbing people in that store where she stole the knives. You don't like white people? You need to go to another store to decide you don't like white people? Just say. Is it something to do with the child? She saw this child. Does she have children? See, I ask all the questions because nobody's talking about that. You're talking about makeup in a suitcase and all that type of nonsense. Where did she come from? Who raised her? Did she finish high school? Does she have children? Allegedly, she lives alone. Well, who lived with her? Did she live on her own? She didn't stay in an apartment or home or wherever she was. Why not? See, those are things people should be talking about, because that'll get down to the nitty-gritty of who Bianca is and how she came to be at this point in her life unaliving this child. She had a previous theft charge for stealing something, which led her to that police department inquiring about her belongings returned to her. And I think she's saying she had some money missing out of her personal effects. So did she actually have money? Did one of the officers or intake workers steal her money? What's the truth? That's my content pertaining to Bianca Ellis. Once again, condolences to the family for baby Juju. All right. Let's go back to her behavior. Court TV, everybody. A while ago.
You know what?
Giggling in court. Is this a sign of a mental defect? Or she knows exactly what's going on? We will see. We will see.
The police say that she fatally stabbed a 3-year-old boy outside of a local grocery store. On Monday, 32-year-old Bianca Ellis, look at this, she was seen smirking at the cameras at her arraignment. Her bail was set at $5 million. And according to police, she not only stabbed the child, but also stabbed the child's mother as they were leaving the grocery store. The victim, 3-year-old Julian Wood, this is this precious little angel who died in what authorities are saying was a random attack, totally random, outside of the Giant Eagle grocery store on June 3rd near Cleveland, Ohio. Mom is still recovering from her injuries, and before Ellis's bail was set, little Julian's dad gave this very emotional statement in court.
That day, 1 week ago, she took everything from us. There's nothing that could ever replace my son, or anything that my wife and I, even our other kids, are going through. It's horrendous.
Their question this morning, what's the most shocking part about this? The horrific allegations that this woman stabbed a 3-year-old and his mother who was trying to save them? Or that she thought it was funny when she was arraigned and she was laughing in the courtroom? Let's bring back in our power panel. Detective Alcazar, you've seen some horrific stuff throughout your career. Would you start off this conversation, please?
Yeah, anytime you're dealing with a child homicide, it's probably the worst case you could respond to. I've dealt with several, and I hated it. I hated the perpetrator. You get very emotional. You try to be professional, but when I see this woman's face, oh my God, she's just a monster. And it's hard to keep my composure just looking at her now. So I don't envy the task of prosecuting her. I'm sure they will, but just a lot of emotions when I heard about this case.
Oh, certainly, Detective. I mean, this has just rocked Cleveland, Ohio, and people all around the country and the world who saw this story. I mean, who hurts a 3-year-old? And there was no reason for it. They're pushing the mom was pushing the shopping cart to the car. They're in the parking lot. The baby's in the top part of the buggy, like they typically are. And then this is what police say happened for no good reason. Franz, to you next, please. Thoughts on what stuns you the most?
So this is all about context. They tried to arraign her 3 different times, twice on video camera and once in active court, which is where we see her smiling. The indigent defender says to the judge, look, we've previously represented her in another matter. We think she has a mental health issue. We think, and this is important, we think she hasn't received her medication. The judge continues to push. The calamity of errors here is they should have reassigned this arraignment and not done it here. And now what we're left with, if I'm defending her, what I'm left with is the optics of her smiling at the camera in active court, looking like she's a monster, where in truth, she might have a legitimate mental health issue.
That's true.
Not saying that excuses the behavior, not saying that makes her not culpable for the murder. I'm saying it's all about context, and moving forward in the arraignment in this manner absolutely hurt her, absolutely shouldn't have happened. Now look, Julie, it's possible she's faking. It's absolutely possible she's faking and doesn't have a mental health issue. But if I'm a defense attorney, that's how I have to spin it is this woman has a clear mental health issue. We have a history with her. We know she has a mental health issue, and her behavior in court shouldn't be admissible in a court of law at trial. And it also should be a factor in determining whether or not to seek the death penalty.
Such great points from you, Franz. Such excellent points you just made. Thank you for all of that. Kinsey Schofield, will you take us home, please? Your thoughts on the case, what stuns you the most, and what you're looking for going forward.
Or, I mean, I think what stuns me the most is how amazing the community has been around this family, rallying around this family. They recently had a car show to raise money for the family at a local bar. 20% of the proceeds at the bar also went to the family. Over $261,000 has been raised, with just a $10,000 goal for the family on.
$261,000, really? Okay. See, I gotta say, some people are gonna have a problem with that. $10,000 goal. I just mentioned that earlier in the live stream. What was the goal? $10,000 goal. Remember what I said? Doesn't cost a lot to bury a small person. So how do you go from $10,000 to $261,000? That's a lot of money. That's why I asked the questions. Did the mother have medical insurance for herself? Did she need extensive surgery? Because naturally she didn't have medical insurance. She's going to have to pay the due bill for going to hospital, having surgery, aftercare, therapy, depending on what's wrong with her. But my God, almost $300,000, because we don't really know how much more she's made since then. And I know people, they will question, hey, GoFundMe. Because people are going to question that. 261 at that time, and you only had a $10,000 goal. So what somebody's going to say is, why didn't you stop it at some point? What would be the point to stop it? You know, what number you think it was efficient to stop the GoFundMe? Almost $300,000, that's a lot of money. I'm just saying. And I understand doctor bills can rack up, aftercare, therapy, depending on her state, what state she was in, as far as movement, mobility, needing therapy, psychotherapy, all of that. Just saying.
on a GoFundMe. His favorite things were the color green and dinosaurs. And if you look at video throughout the community, it's littered in green and dinosaurs because people want to remember this baby. They were immensely affected by this child's death. And I think he's going to be remembered for a very long time. And I think that that's something important to think about throughout this process.
Oh, you're right, Kinsey. That was beautiful. Thank you for all of that. We've got to say goodbye, and a big thank you to you and to Franz for all of your time and expertise this morning. We'll see you back here soon.
Okay, is Bianca Taylor mentally ill? Does she have some type of debilitating mental disorder, schizophrenia, bipolar, dissociative personality? Who is Bianca? Why I say Bianca Taylor, excuse me. Bianca ELLIS. Does she have a mental disorder? We will see August 13th what the state has found pertaining to her demeanor, laughing, giggling in court. There was times she wouldn't talk, wouldn't speak. Lawyers obviously couldn't reach her in commentary. Their psychologists, psychiatrists couldn't reach her. As the guy said, is it an act? So you don't know if it's an act or not. We will wait to see in August what her situation is. The next commentary is going to be pertaining to, now what is this? What did they say this? Woman accused of stabbing 3-year-old refuses to face judge. Yeah, that was commentary. Her behavior, what? Oh Lord, it's a whole nother subject. They said incompetent to stand trial. Her lawyers believe she's incompetent, but once again, we will wait to see what happens in court if the state says she's incompetent. Thank you for joining me. If you need verification for the information, please go to my community board for all set commentary. It is in the YouTube queue. 5-part live, everybody. Look at all those videos. All of those are from the Queen. I've been doing a lot of work bringing you updates, 15 seconds of crazy nonsense. We're going to talk about Riley Strain. 47 minutes. Whew, Lord, on one topic. Jesus wept. Sorry it took so long. Let's see. Why do I have 2 videos up? That's not good. It seems like things I've been sharing is not on here in my YouTube queue. It's weird. Everything's not showing up. It's weird. We're going to go here. There's 2 videos out pertaining to Riley Strain.
YouTube.
Allegedly, he went to 4 bars with his friends.
Strain disappeared downtown. It shows that he and 4 friends at 4 different bars down in the district. Fox 17 News' Kelly Avellino now with the very latest on what became a national story that prompted change in Music City.
This surveillance video from Luke Bryan's bar shows Riley Strain getting escorted down the stairs after staffers say he had too much to drink. A private investigator hired by Strain's family says one of Strain's friends did try to smooth things over, but wasn't successful. Riley took off from outside the bar, his friends calling him as he stumbled in the wrong direction of their hotel. According to police documents exclusively obtained by Fox 17 News, just before 10 p.m., Metro Police dash cam video captured, quote, a person that appears to be Strain standing at the wooden rail under the James Robertson Parkway Bridge. Detectives write they believe Strain crossed over that wooden guardrail.
Let's hear that
and lost
again.
his rail under the James Robertson Parkway. Person that appears to be Strain standing at the wooden rail under the James Robertson Parkway Bridge. Detectives write they believe Strain crossed over that wooden guardrail.
So let's talk about this, because all this is still bizarre to me and other people. You walk by the police, he seems like he's walking normal. He doesn't seem to be staggering as he did at a short while after leaving the last bar. So he's walked all the way to the river. Some people believe he got the address wrong. Maybe he Googled the wrong address, because when you go into Google search, the place, the hotel where he was staying, there's another business with the same similar name. So maybe he Googled the wrong place. But there's a point where you see him also like he's holding his hand out, like he's talking to someone on the phone. So what I have to ask myself is, we have eyewitnesses, and you can't really believe half of the shit these people are saying because of that shirt business. Oh, he was talking to somebody, blah, blah, blah. So if he did talk to somebody, wouldn't somebody direct him in the right direction to his hotel? See, all this is bizarre to me because it's all he said, she said. And none of his friends have spoken out to the public. So if you don't have anybody speaking to the public, you don't really know what's the truth, who said what, who talked to whom. And that's where I have the problem with this story. Now you're releasing videos of him at different bars and all of that. What is your point? To show us what? He bought some drinks, he got drunk. Well, we can figure that out already. We saw the videos of him walking through the city drunk. What we're trying to figure out is how the hell he got over to the riverfront. Because you're talking about almost a 10-minute walk or a 10-minute walk. So how did he get over there? And as I said, this video of him with his arms stretched out like he's, maybe talking to somebody on the phone. One's going to say, well, what was he saying? What were they talking about? And why haven't any of these friends come out publicly to speak? Well, we know they're not going to come out publicly to speak because they're in a fraternity. And we know the code of silence in fraternities, sororities. You're not supposed to talk. You're not supposed to tell anything. But we're talking about a human life here. And I want to know how he got under the bridge. Why would he go over to this rail and stand over this rail? For what? Urinating, throwing up? Because he's a big guy, he's a tall guy. So what? He held on to the rail throwing up? You still can't explain that logically. Even if a person went to regurgitate, how would they flip over a rail, even regurgitating? Come on. Just saying. It's just strange to me. And are you sure that rail is exactly the area where he actually went over? Because all of this is not made the same. Let me make that clear for those who haven't followed the content. This area may have a rail, but if you go further back, there's no rail. Each area going along that sidewalk is made different. Some have a rail. One part don't even have this. It's just a drop off. So imagine a little ways over, this is missing. This doesn't exist. It's just, you could just fall over. So I thought maybe he was at that area where there was no rail, no concrete barriers. And then I had to say to myself, okay, well, why are you going to walk so far over to urinate, to throw up, whatever, fall over? I don't know, because that's the whole point. I don't know him. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. All of it's bizarre. But when you watch the content of him buying drinks and so on and so forth, he always puts his card in his wallet in his front pocket. So what people are going to ask themselves is the obvious. How is it that the card is out on its own floating, found, but there's no wallet with the other cards? Make it make sense. Where is the wallet? He fell over the rail, allegedly, hit the water, and the card fell out of the pocket some type of way, and the wallet went where? Into the water, floated? Stay woke. I don't know. It's a bizarre story.
And lost his balance, falling off of a ledge. Detectives also believe the river was high enough that Strain fell directly into the water, then drowning. The autopsy also saying that alcohol poisoning was a cause of death. After interviewing 6 of Strain's friends, the private investigator confirmed that they did look for him by the waterfront after returning to the hotel, discovering he wasn't there.
Now, Riley Strain's death, because of that, city leaders drafted a riverfront safety plan that includes some better barriers and improved lighting. A nonprofit called the Red Frogs, which helps to make sure that impaired people get home safely after a night downtown, are also working to become a permanent fixture in downtown.
So, You're going to work on getting people home. So much for Uber, Lyft. Well, imagine all the people who drink and go to bars in the Nashville, Tennessee demographic. Are they also going to be able to get away home safely? Because you also got to be weary of the people who are giving drunk people rides home. Stay woke, especially females. And we're seeing the flip side of rides. Taxi drivers not being up to par, Uber, Lyft drivers not being up to par. It is a dangerous thing to be inebriated in a city, either in the bar, outside of the bar, walking, getting in cars, getting picked up by people. It's all the same. It's called blind trust. You don't know people. What happened to Riley Strain? Alcohol poisoning, drank too many drinks. They think he fell over the rail. But my goodness, he walked fine by the police. So one would say, well, he's kind of straightened up because he saw the police. But as I told people, walking down that sidewalk, you can see the police and lights. Why even walk down that way when you know you're intoxicated? How did he get over there by the river? What led him over there? They pinged his phone from Snapchat. They're now saying that they went and looked for him after going to the hotel. I don't believe that. For some reason, I just don't believe that. I don't believe some drunk kids went to the hotel, saw their friend wasn't there, and then said, come on, let's jump back out. Let's go find him. Oh, his phone pinged over by the river. So how'd they get over there? Because we don't even know how they got to Tennessee. We don't know if they flew, if they drove. Break it down, because I'm curious. Let's look over here at this content.
One of the biggest about Riley Strain's death was why he was kicked out of Luke Bryan's 32 Bridge Bar to begin with. We now know the answer to that and so much more. We can also put to rest another conspiracy theory thanks to this picture. Look close. What's missing? Big thanks if you trusted us to share only what's important and truthful with regards to the Riley Strain tragedy and investigation.
Oh, I'm not playing anybody else's content.
New video from the night Missouri College student Riley Strain disappeared downtown. It shows that he and four friends at
I'm trying to find the video where I thought I shared it on my channel. This is weird. This is bizarre. Because I don't see it. This is really weird. This was 4 months ago that he went missing. This is crazy. My community page, I don't know what's going on because I have uploaded so much content and shared so much, and it's not showing things that I posted, which is bizarre. Let's see. Very weird. Thank you all for joining me. I don't understand where the other video is. This is weird. Hold on, you guys. Gotta find this other video. Gotta do this. Riley Strain. Okay. I'm trying to find the video with showing him buying all the drinks. Here we go. Let me share this to my community page. This is weird because I thought I had shared this already. All right, everybody. 1 second. I've been so busy today. Oh my gosh. Just trying to get everything ready. I think the computer just got tired of typing. All right, hold on. All right, let's pay attention to this information. There's no sound in the video, everybody. Signing his tab at the bar. He bought drinks, different bars. So imagine going to 4 bars. And imagine how many drinks he had at each bar. Sorry about that. It's a lot to digest. And then to be escorted out of a bar on your own with no friends, nobody there with you in a city that you're not from. Don't know his familiarity with Nashville, Tennessee. They had been to that city before for the same type of formal. But the point is, you went there with friends and now you're booted out of a bar and you're on your own. And I do believe he did not want to finish his night of drinking and camaraderie. Allegedly, they said he went to another bar. Where's the footage of that bar? Him going up to the door and not being in, getting let in because he was inebriated. Does somebody have that said footage? Watch very closely. That is Riley going out of the bar. He has a can in his hand. What is that? An alcoholic beverage or a regular beverage? One would wonder if it's alcohol because usually they won't let you go outside of a business with an alcoholic beverage. So was it a beer? What was it? But I know it was a can. Stay woke. He's now walking down the street. Follow the globe. Where'd he go? Which bar is this? He's exiting alone. Pay attention to the contents. He's now coming back. Watch the shadow. Black and white shirt. He's coming back in. Where did he go? It's a very odd behavior going on here. Alone. Going out of a bar alone and coming back in. What did he do when he went outside? 4 bars, allegedly. I don't know what's going on. Now he's paying another tab. Looks like a guy is signing something. Bartender. The shirt and laugh. First I thought maybe he was questioning the bill. Don't know. Takes off. He's looking around funny. Is he drunk there? What's really going on? 2 videos released pertaining to Riley Strain. This one here is where he's being escorted out. The one I just showed you, he's paying the tab a couple of times. What happened? Does his friends have any remorse pertaining to what happened that night? Did they really go by the riverfront looking for Riley Strain when they returned back to the hotel? We heard there was some type of ruckus at the hotel. Somebody hurt their finger, hand, whatever. They were loud. Somebody came to say that these kids were on the floor making a lot of damn noise. I've also questioned that information as well. What really happened? This is a 5-part live. We're talking about the shooter of the Donald Trump saga, Monica Williams, who shot a Church's Chicken employee, Riley Strain, BIANCA ELLIS, who killed a 3-year-old child in a parking lot, grocery store parking lot, and Taylor Casey. Let's get to Taylor Casey and get that story out of the way. Thank you for joining me. The mother is not pleased with the investigation. There's some he said, she said going on in the Royal Bahamian Police. They feel like they were helpful. They are saying that she was thankful of their help, but as she said, those are just manners. She's not happy with the investigation. The chief has stepped down or been removed temporarily while on pay, garden leave as they call it, for nefarious texting notes or whatever about bribes, drug cases. And as I told people, if you have your hands in one thing, you'll have your hands in something else. So it doesn't matter if it's unrelated to Taylor Casey's case. The point is, if you are asking for bribes for drug money cases, you would easily cover this case up and take a bribe for this case. It's all the same to me. I don't differentiate. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Baldex. Lord have mercy, what a mess. This case is just mind-blowing. As they always say, if you knew the truth, it wouldn't be all that hard to understand. But that's the point. We don't know the truth.
Think about them. I just really try to dismiss them and just believe that my daughter is alive.
Taylor Casey's family is living a nightmare every day. For nearly a month now, desperately looking for answers about her whereabouts.
For those of you who haven't met Taylor, it's really a loss because, wow, so amazing. And her love is genuine. She just loves people.
The youth program director from Chicago had been in the Bahamas for a month-long trip to become a yoga instructor. The Shivaranda retreat is located on Paradise Island, captured here in a video posted to their Facebook page. Casey was last seen the night of June 19th when she didn't show up for her class the next day. The retreat reported her missing to local authorities. Casey's mother, Colette Seymour, says these were the last messages she received from her daughter on June 18th.
Taylor also mentioned to me how hard this class was. You know, Taylor didn't go into details, but Taylor said, "Mom, this is hard." And when she said that, I felt a concern. Taylor's been doing yoga for all of those years, so, you know, I'm kind of figuring, well, it can't be the yoga, so what is it?
Seymour says she feels the fact that her daughter is transgender shouldn't impact the investigation.
What does it matter of Taylor's gender? Taylor is a human being, an American citizen that's missing in the Bahamas.
In January, the U.S. issued a Level 2 travel advisory to the Bahamas, warning travelers of rising crime. The company running the retreat telling ABC News, the Osram is asking anyone with information.
Let's go back.
Travel advisory to the Bahamas, warning travelers of
human being, an American citizen that's missing in the Bahamas.
In January, the U.S. issued a Level 2 travel advisory to the Bahamas, warning travelers of rising crime. The company running the retreat telling ABC News, the Osram is asking anyone with information on Miss Casey to contact local police. In the interim, it's collaborating with authorities on their investigation. Wellness travel has exploded in popularity in the last few years. It's estimated that wellness tourism is worth $651 billion annually, and it's only expected to grow. What's more, most solo travelers are women.
Don't travel by yourself. Travel in a group.
Bahamian authorities say they've conducted a full and thorough investigation, adding in the statement in part, there have been no complaints from U.S. authorities on how this matter has been conducted. In fact, we've been congratulated both by the family and the U.S. authority. The investigation is still open.
Let's stop right there. This statement right here is not sitting well with Miss Colette because she feels like I was hospitable because that's how I was raised and how I was taught to say thank you, thank you, ma'am, thank you, sir. But she's basically saying I am not pleased. So just because I said thank you to you does not mean I'm pleased at the investigation. I'm not pleased at your commentary. I'm not pleased with the ashram and their commentary. So they're trying to glaze over the fact that Miss Colette is not happy with them. They've made commentary a week before that she was defamatory in what she was saying about them. But that's the point. As I said in my live stream before, you cannot make her feel a certain way about what she saw and heard on the island by you and or your constituents and or the ashram. What did you want her to say? Hey, I don't like you. I don't like what you're saying. You're talking in circles. You sound evasive. You all don't sound like you know what you're talking about. Is that what you wanted her to say? She also made a comment to say the lady chief was saying something about her needing to give a statement. Why would Colette need to give a statement? That makes no sense to me. She's not under interrogation. She's there to see about her child. I need to give you a statement about what? You're not investigating me. You're looking for my kid. I thought that was strange. The Colette said the woman told her, well, I asked you for a statement and you wouldn't give it. And then she said she would have given her a statement if she had asked. So we got some back and forth tit for tat shit going on here between Colette and these people. And then people are going to judge Colette for not revealing the fact that her child is a man. And I think she should have done that. And you hear in his commentary saying, what difference does it make? Well, it does make a difference, Colette, because he is a guy. She's a guy. So if your child showed up dead, they need to know that she is a he. Because if you did not tell these people that that's a he, your child pops up dead, they're not going to contact you. Now, you say that you have told them she's a he. Excuse me. Sorry about that. What's the truth? Colette, did you tell the Royal Bahamian Police that your child is a man? Because what people are going to question is, okay, well, why would you tell them he's a man, but you didn't tell the news media he's a man, she's a man, excuse me. Just say. Because you can't have one without the other. And people are going to question that. Oh, you're going to tell the Royal Bahamian Police, hey, she's a he, but don't tell the news. Then you talk to Brian Enton, but you don't tell him and the other news agencies your child is a biological male. That's wrong. Come on now. We're going to call a spade a spade. You need the truth to be out because your child is missing. You cannot have secrets when you're talking about a missing person. I don't care what the person was into. They're a heavy drinker, alcoholic, drug addict, prostitution, whatever they're into. They stay in trouble with the law, whatever. It needs to be told because it may have bearing on why they're missing. So far we know, somebody thought it was a she, got offended when they found out it was a he, could have hurt her. She could have went on a date. They realized it was a man. See, we don't know. She could have had problems at the ashram with those people there. We saw her weird behavior with that lady who sat beside her to help her sing. Her behavior was very off. And there's an article saying she was a people person. She talked to people. But one's going to say, well, that don't sound right because why was she acting like that in that ashram meeting with that white lady sitting beside her? Flinching and jumping and stuff? That doesn't sound like a people person to me. Now, did the woman put her hand behind her to do something? Some people believe, one person commented that they think she did something. Did what? I tell people, when you comment, make it clear what you mean. We are not mind readers. She put her hand under the platform. She put her hand behind her back. Okay, she put her hand behind her back. Well, what did she do? What do you think the lady did to Taylor in that video? Touched her backside, her buttocks? What? Say it. We're not mind readers. Say what you mean. What happened to this lady? Is this an issue of race, gender? Somebody figured her out. Somebody didn't like the fact she was a man. The mother feels like it has something to do with race. It has something to do with her gender. Her tent was all the way near the entrance to go down the stairs. I don't know. I wasn't there. But what the queen has found is her pink case lying in the floor, which I found strange. Nobody has mentioned that. I have sent that information to News Nation. I also sent it to Miss Colette, if it's the right number, to let her know you might want to get that phone case fingerprinted, because most people don't take their phones out of their cases. Queen found that in the print, in the tent video. Nobody's talking about it. What's up with the phone case lying in the floor? Please feel free to go check out the tent video. You zoom in on the picture. There is a pink iPhone case lying in the floor. Did she normally take her phone out of the case? Miss Williams, you should know you're her friend.
I don't know who they talking about. Congratulated them because this wasn't me. I would not congratulate them for doing nothing in finding my child.
Shortly after Casey went missing, a U.S. State Department spokesperson telling ABC News in part, when a U.S. citizen is missing, we work closely with local authorities as they carry out their search efforts. We share information with families, however. But Seymour and Casey's friend Emily Williams taking matters into their own hands. They both flew down to the Bahamas a week after Casey disappeared to meet authorities and visit the retreat where she was staying.
We still had a lot of questions about exactly what happened, where was Taylor, and what information did the police have.
When I saw Taylor's tent versus everybody else's tent, first thing came to my mind was segregation, isolation. Why is my child's tent right here at the stairway, easy access to anything, and everybody else's tent was like in pairs?
Casey's Bible and journal were in her tent the day she was reported missing. Her passport is still missing, but authorities retrieved her cell phone in the ocean where she was staying.
Right there, pink case.
Access into that phone they found in the ocean
Go back.
will give them clues as to who she may have been texting.
Near where she was staying.
Right there. Pink iPhone case. Why is it in the floor? Stay woke. Her phone was found in the ocean. Journal found in the ocean. Why would her journal and her phone be in the ocean? Was she on the beach writing in her journal? Foul play happened on the beach. They drug her out, threw it in the water. Because if you're fighting with somebody, you wouldn't have time to be holding on to your phone in a journal. Stay woke. Something happened on the beach. She was unalive. Weighted down. Then they threw her journal and or her phone in the water after hurting her on the beach or in her tent or somewhere on the ashram. Make it make sense.
Trying to get access into that phone they found in the ocean will give them clues as to who she may have been texting, calling, or where she may have gone.
Police holding a presser last week defending their investigation.
We had our divers, professional divers from the Marine section, came across an iPhone, which we know belonged to Ms. Taylor.
3 days later, Casey's family and friends held their own press conference.
They only found the phone because Taylor's niece pinged it and gave them the location.
For now, they're counting each day and marking the milestones that Casey has missed, like her 42nd birthday last week.
We all just want to say happy birthday, although it's not so happy because you are not here with us.
They're staying hopeful and also urging others to join in the search.
There are people who know what happened to Taylor.
Yes.
And we want those people to come forward and to make that information known so that we can find Taylor and bring Taylor home.
Is this foul play, the disappearance of Taylor Casey? Is this an issue of race, gender, bad conversation, bad date, human trafficking? Where is her passport? Did she leave the island on her own some type of way? What happened to her? Make it make sense. Where's her purse? There are pictures of her carrying a purses. Did she have a purse when she went to the islands? Where are all her personal effects, cards, things of that nature? Debit card, credit card? We've heard no mention of debit card, credit card. driver license. Even if she just went with the passport, you still would maybe want a backup ID on you. We hear that you can fly commercially through the United States with just a passport only. So where are her other effects? Very strange story. Did somebody steal it out of her tent? One of the other patrons playing a practical joke. Or somebody who went up in her tent, foul play, stole her passport for nefarious reasons. Selling it to somebody else to use. Make some money off of it. I dissect all situations and circumstances because we don't know what happened to her. We don't know if this is an issue of human trafficking, gender, racism, racial situation. I don't know. I just know it's a strange story. And also there's a white man missing by the name of Wesley Bell. He went missing from the ashram in 2013, January 25th. He has never been seen again. Allegedly, he was going snorkeling. Allegedly, his friends say he had a book. A book was found that he was reading on a bench. They don't tell us where that bench was located. Near his room, outside his room. Why? He had been scuba diving. Get back, he decides he wants to snorkel. He needs snorkeling gear. He's supposed to be borrowing it from somebody. So obviously he was communicating with somebody by cell phone. What happened to him? White man, gone, missing. Now we have a black man who was allegedly pretending to be a woman. No disrespect, but we're calling it as it is. So basically we have two men missing from 13 to 24. Are they related? What's going on with the ashram people? Are they above ground, above board, proper? I have no idea what the hell's going on. So we talked about Taylor Casey, BIANCA ELLIS, Riley Strain. Now we're going to go to the dirty South where the queen is. We're going to talk about this dirty bird down here, Monica Williams. Dirty bird. She's a dirty bird. Prayers to the family, justice. Well, let's see. All the good stuff, Queen's been buying stuff. There was that Raleigh Strain video. Sorry about that. Monica Williams, next story. Thank you for joining me.
It was hard. We were struck, we were surprised, we were hurt, but immediately, her and I, we prayed immediately that God give us strength.
Yeah, the parents of the woman who was shot and killed last week while she was working at Church's Chicken say that they pray justice is done, and we know that the suspect has been arrested. Fox 13's Jeremy Pierre joining us live downtown outside the courthouse, and she's due in court in about an hour. What do we expect to happen? A bail hearing, perhaps?
Yes, and we'll hear if a judge will, in fact, give her a bond. Monica Williams, for first-degree murder. Now, again, this is her first time facing a judge since Memphis police arrested her yesterday. She went on a run from police for about a week or so. A week ago, she, according to Memphis police, she shot and killed Anitra West, that Church's Chicken employee. And last week we spoke to the family of Anitra West. We heard strong words from her 12-year-old daughter to Monica Williams. And just yesterday we spoke to her parents. You'll hear from them in less than 30 minutes from now in this hour of Good Morning Memphis. But a lot of things have come out inside of that affidavit. We do know now that this was all over an order of chicken at Church's Chicken. That affidavit detailing that. We also know that when Anitra West lost her life, that gunshot, that fatal gunshot, she actually was on the phone with a friend, according to that affidavit. Now, of course, we want you to stay with us because, again, Monica Williams, she's set to be in court in less than an hour from now. We'll be inside of that courtroom. I want you to stay with us.
We'll check back then in about 30. Thank you.
It was hard. We were struck. We were surprised.
Her parents have talked very diplomatic about the murder of their child.
We prayed.
And Christian people, father's a pastor, live in Colorado. They were on vacation in Florida when the murder took place. Naturally, they had to go to Memphis to see about their child. Ex-husband has spoken out. He wanted to reconcile with her, but didn't get this chance because she's not alive. They have a child, 12-year-old daughter, who wishes this woman to go to hell. Those are her opinions. He says he felt like it's maybe more about something else than an order of food. The streets talk. Everybody knows this. And there's usually a little bit of truth to he said, she said in street shenanigans and buffoonery. Okay? So he knows of this woman, Monica. So did his wife, ex-wife, Anitra, also know of her? Did they cross paths in the street? Did they have some type of relationship? Non-relationship, some type of personal issue with one another? Is it about family members, friends, associates? What's the truth? The woman who was with her in the car is basically saying, oh, nothing happened at Church's Chicken. I got dropped off by her. She dropped me and my child off. She left out saying she was hungry, going to get some food, because allegedly they didn't get any food due to this altercation, verbal altercation, allegedly. And she's saying, the friend, nothing happened at Church's Chicken. No physical altercation. This is what she's saying. Although you see her outside of the car. You see her outside of the car right there. So why would you get outside of your car if you're not ordering food? You don't want the damn food. So they say, oh, nothing happened. She took me home. She went out, got some food. She came back around 11:30. Then she packed the bag, left her car. The story don't sound right. Many people under the videos are talking a bunch of junk about the police throwing this woman under the bus, the media throwing under the bus as the witness. Well, it's already seen in the video when you watch it. There's somebody sitting in the SUV. You can see an arm up on the armrest in the car. So somebody was in there. So that person has come forward to call the police, tell her version of what happened. Oh yeah, I was in the car, but nothing happened. She dropped me off at the house and she went on her merry way, stayed gone for a little while, came back, packed the bag, left her car behind. I think this is bullshit. I think the witness is trying to remove herself as accessory to murder. And actually, you don't have control over somebody pulling out a gun. You got to prove that I went to this restaurant with a person and they deliberately went there to murder a person. You got to prove that. You got to prove it. But I think she knows, hey, I live in Tennessee. I know the laws. Accessory. I don't want to be going down in flames. I got a child, children. I ain't trying to go down for no damn murder. So I think she's trying to remove herself by saying she got dropped off. And basically implying what? Monica doubled back and went to the restaurant. That don't even make any sense. Because the way the story was unfolded, they made it seem like there was a verbal altercation. You see pictures of her outside of the car, which is right there. And that she got back in the car, drove around, which I would assume would be the front of the restaurant. Anitra's outside. We hear that she's talking on the phone to somebody. And then she's shot. So I'm thinking it went kind of like this, because I'm a realist. They had words. Monica drove around the front because Anitra told her, hell, meet me outside, B-I-T, woo, woo, woo. And then Monica pulled up, jumped out, or put a gun outside the window and shot her. That's what I think happened. And this friend don't want to be an accessory, so she's trying to make it seem like nothing happened at Church's. And then the lawyer for Monica basically said, oh, we ain't got no witnesses. So now that means nobody is talking? Oh, shit. Really? So that's how y'all rocking in Memphis? Y'all scared to talk Scared to go to court to testify and tell the truth? What you heard, what you witnessed in Church's Chicken, outside, the witnesses out of the car with Monica, you all are afraid to tell the truth. See, this is what happens when you in the wrong place at the wrong damn time. You're now caught up as a witness and you don't want to talk for your safety. I get it. But if there's security cameras, it's not going to really matter what you say because the cameras are going to tell the truth. Okay? Going to tell the truth. Going to tell the truth. So, lady, if you were there when she shot Anitra, how are you going to get out of it if they can show that you were in the car? Somebody can say, oh, yeah, I was standing behind Anitra and saw another woman sitting in the car and it was you. Same thing for you, Monica. You're standing outside of a car arguing, which makes no sense. You didn't want the food, so why are you getting out of your car? If I get to the window, number one, and you don't understand what I'm saying, you mixing up the order while I'm talking, I drive off, there ain't no need of me going to window two, ain't no need of me going inside. If I don't want the damn food, I'm just gonna keep it moving. That's why I know this story is off. There's bullshit with this story. I got a feeling she ordered the food at window one, got the window two, they put the orders together, and she wanted them separate, however it went, and then it was on from there, Donkey Kong. Now, Anitra's talking shit. She's talking shit. She's getting out the car, Monica. Anitra getting crunk. Anitra probably told her, well, come on, let's do this. I'll meet you outside. Because allegedly they're saying she went outside to cool off. Why would you go outside to cool off and you was just arguing with somebody who just stepped outside of their vehicle? That makes no sense. Then we hear that this Monica person has a violent past of assault from years ago where she stabbed a pregnant woman. So sense. Make it make sense. Let's hear from the so-called friend. Welcome to the Vault XL, everybody.
45-year-old Monica Williams has finally ended after a week-long search. She is the woman accused of killing 48-year-old Anitra West, a Church's Chicken employee, last week in Orange Mound.
Now we have our Tavarius Haywood. He's joining us live with details of how one of Williams' friends helped police identify her. Good morning, T-Wood.
Good morning, y'all. Police records say that friend, who we are not naming, called the police the day after the deadly incident, saying that she and her child was with Williams the moment that she got into an argument with an employee at Church's Chicken. Now, according to police records, Williams allegedly told the employee at the drive-thru intercom that they had two orders. That's when things became tense, and they decided not to order since the ordering had become so tense. Williams then pulled up to the window and told the employee they no longer wanted to order. The witness said things became more heated and an argument began, although nothing physical took place.
Let's go back.
Become so tense. Williams then became tense, and they decided to drive through intercom that they had two orders. That's when things became Chicken. Now, according to police records, Williams allegedly told the employee at the drive-thru intercom that they had two orders. That's when things became tense, and they decided not to order since the ordering had become so tense. Williams then pulled up to the window and told the employee they no longer wanted to order. The witness said things became more heated and an argument began, although nothing physical took place.
I don't understand none of this that's going on, because once again, it's he said, she said. If I'm ordering at window one, and you don't seem to understand what I'm saying, I have the option to just pull off and keep it moving or go inside to order. So what was the problem at window one? So now you're going to pull up to window two. To say what? To try to reorder? So now everybody's arguing about some damn chicken. And allegedly, Monica gets out of the car. There's photos of her stepping out of the car. If you look closely, you can see somebody's arm right there. So Miss, you were in the car with her, and you're trying to now say, oh, she took me home. She took me and my child home and went back out to get some food. But you didn't say she went out and got you some food. I believe you're lying. I believe she shot her when she got back in that car. Anitra was outside. Why Anitra went outside is a mystery to me, but I won't doubt Anitra went toe-to-toe with her to argue like a fool, and she lost her life. Because I'm not getting ready to go outside a restaurant and I'm just arguing with somebody in the drive-thru. That makes no fucking sense. Common sense, depending on how the restaurant is made. If the person has to drive by the front door, why am I going to go outside to cool off? Make it make sense, everybody.
Williams reportedly drove the mother and the child home and dropped them off in the driveway, saying she was, quote, going to get some chips to go with their dinner. The friend said Williams came back sometime between 11 p.m. and 11 midnight.
Okay, so here he's saying going to get some chips with their dinner. Why do you need to go get chips and you just ordered chicken? I thought there was confusion about the food and you didn't want the food. See, something's not right here. So then they go somewhere else and get food and then decide to drop her off and go get some potato chips. Why do you need to drop her off? You're already out. Go get the food, chips, soda pop, whatever the hell you want, and then we all go home and eat. Because this is a made-up story. I've been on top of this dirt 53 years, and this is bullshit. You're already out and about. You left Church's Chicken, either with the food or you didn't get the food. So why are you not going to get food after you leave Church's Chicken? Why you need to drop them off to go back out to go buy a fucking potato chip when you're passing thousands of places to buy potato chips? Stay woke. Ma'am, I believe you're lying. Because you don't want an accessory charge. So all you gotta do is just tell the fucking truth. Yeah, I was in the car with her. She got out the car arguing with the lady. She jumped back in the car. We drove around. I thought she was leaving. She went up, pulled a gun out, shot out the window, jumped out the car and shot the lady. Boom, that was it. Just tell the truth. Tell the truth. Be set free. Let's go back, because I smell lies in this commentary from the news.
Packed an overnight bag and left without her car. Now, her argument began, although nothing physical took place. Williams reportedly drove the mother and the child home and dropped them off in the driveway, saying she was, quote, going to get some to go with their dinner. The friend said Williams came back sometime between 11 p.m. and 11 midnight, packed an overnight bag, and left without her car. Now, her friend told police that she wasn't surprised to see Williams' car outside because Williams was seeing someone and she would often leave with them in the evenings. He said,
so you're going to leave a place to go get chips, drop somebody off at the house, your witness, drop them off, and I'm going to sit here and wait an hour for you to come back with potato chips? Pay attention, everybody. The story is a lie. It's a lie.
Took place. Williams reportedly drove the mother and the child home and dropped them off.
Let's go all the way back.
The ordering had become so tense. Williams then pulled up to the window and told the employee they no longer wanted to order. The witness said things became more heated and an argument began, although nothing physical took place. Williams reportedly drove the mother and the child home and dropped them off in the driveway, saying she was, quote, going to get some chips to go with their dinner.
So why would you need to get chips with something that you did not order? Because we did not hear that they stopped somewhere else to get food in order to go back out to get potato chips. This is a bold-faced lie. And little girl, you are making it worse because it's no sense. When this story broke, the news made it appear that there was an altercation at the Church's Chicken window. Monica came outside her car, arguing, got back in her car, drove around, and Nitra standing outside and she shot her. That was the way they portrayed it. You never heard nothing about nobody being dropped off. Monica went out searching for potato chips. So you mean to tell me in the city of Memphis, it would take an hour to find potato chips when you were already in your car when you left Church's Chicken? When you go to the next place, go get potato chips, food, sandwiches, wherever, then go home and eat? Because, ma'am, you're lying. You were right there in the car when she shot that woman, and you don't want to be looped into this crime. So why don't you just tell the damn truth? You were in the car when she shot Anitra West. Just tell the damn truth. She's locked up. She's not getting out. Now, I understand people have friends and associates. You might be fearing for your safety, so I get it. So you don't want to say you were there in the car with her when she shot her because you know you'd have to go to court and testify. So I believe that's what this is about. You were in the car when she shot Anitra, and you don't want to have to go to court to testify as a witness. So you want to make it seem like nothing happened in churches. You got dropped off. She went out and looked for potato chips for an hour and came back and then packed a bag. That don't even make no fucking sense. So where is the part where you all went and found food somewhere else? You left that part out of the story. Then we have this lawyer acting like, oh, it ain't no witnesses to tell what happened. Oh, I believe there's a witness. Because there's always somebody who don't mind going to court and telling the truth about what they saw and what they heard. So this lady can play crazy all she wants and act like nothing happened at churches. She got dropped off, her and her child, and Monica went out looking for potato chips for an hour and came back and then packed a bag. Oh, this is what she normally does when she's got a friend she's going to see. She packs a bag. So now we got to ask, so did she live with you for her to pack a bag and always leave her car there? Girl, please stop this nonsense. Monica Williams is facing first-degree murder for the murder of Miss Anitra West. She's currently in custody. That's the business. You've heard stories pertaining to Riley's video release of him being out bar hopping with his friends. Police believe he went over a rail, fell in the water. Water was high. Alcohol poisoning. BIANCA ELLIS accused of killing a 3-year-old white child. Deemed them competent lawyers. They will go to court next month to hear if she's competent. Then this mess here with Monica Williams and the witness acting like she ain't seen nothing. More nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Taylor Casey missing from the Bahamas. Mother frustrated with the investigation. Tit for tat, going back and forth, arguing over this and that and this. I'm bored with all of it because it's just making my damn head hurt. Oh, Lord. Let's go to the Queen's community page. Is Monica Williams' friend trying to avoid an accessory charge by telling police that nothing physically happened? That she and child were dropped off after church's chicken dispute. Monica left her home and returned later to pack a bag, leaving her car behind as usual. 86% believe she's trying to avoid being an accessory. 0% no, 14% not sure. 7 votes. Not a lot of people voted. Secret Service aware of suspicious person. We're now going to talk about Thomas Crooks. Last commentary. Thank you for joining me. It is now believed that the Steam account where he posted that he was going to exact something on the 13th, which was last Saturday, is now being said it's a fake account and it does not belong to Thomas Crooks.
Gunman's father called police before the shooting at the rally, worried about his son. Out of this, we're getting new information about the shooter who tried to kill former President Trump. A law enforcement source tells CBS News that the gunman's father called police before the shooting at the rally, worried about his son and his whereabouts. We're also learning more about who knew what and when in the critical half hour before the gunman opened fire. CBS's Meg Oliver takes us through what we're learning about the timeline from Pennsylvania.
3 sources from a closed-door briefing between lawmakers and federal officials tell CBS News the U.S. Secret Service was aware of a suspicious person 20 minutes before he attempted to kill former President Trump. They also say the shooter, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, had searched online about depression for images of Trump and President Biden when the was taking place and how to build an explosive device. Crooks started off alarm bells at least half an hour before the assassination attempt, when local police reported a suspicious person near the building. A local tactical sniper inside a neighboring building spotted him from a second-floor window and snapped this picture. Crooks then pulled out a rangefinder and the sniper alerted his team. The shooter then climbed an air conditioning unit onto the building near the sniper's position. At 5:51 p.m., state police alerted the U.S. Secret Service about a suspicious person and radioed a description within 1 minute. At 6 p.m., the former president was allowed to take the stage. 10 minutes later, Service snipers were alerted about an issue unfolding to Trump's right, but it's too late. At 6:11, shots ring out, and chaos erupts in the crowd. Somebody got shot over here! At the Republican National Convention last night, Republican senators confronted Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle, demanding to know why the president was even allowed to take the stage. Former Secret Service agent Charles Marino says Trump should never have started his speech.
He should be held in a secure area until the threat is ultimately resolved, and then it's concluded that there's no additional other threats.
Today, hundreds of people turned out at this visitation to pay their respects for 50-year-old Corey Comparator, who died during the rally. He leaves behind a wife and 2 daughters. A private funeral is scheduled for tomorrow. Nora.
Meg Oliver, thank you for all that new report.
So this content was uploaded. Hold on, because it's a new day. 5 hours ago. So it'll be today. Friday services. Once again, condolences to the family. So we get wind that the Secret Service knew about the threat of a person walking around. Whereas the problem is the obvious. Why would you allow him to go past the barrier into the arena? If you had a question about anything on him, detonator, rangefinder, whatever, this makes no sense to me. Because see, right now, all the blame is being put on the Secret Service because they were supposed to be taking care of Donald Trump. I get that. But the point is, this story has a start that don't start with the Secret Service. You can't say, well, we noticed this and that when he came in. We went and called Pookie Ray, the Secret Service. That is stupid. It should have never even gotten to this point. If you saw something suspicious with Mr. Crooks or anybody, they should not have been allowed in. You cannot sit here and say, we're going to let you in and I'm going to let the Secret Service watch you and find you in the room. That is idiotic. This is why I don't jump on the gun when I start hearing things in a story. I like to hear everything I can possibly hear before I come to my judgment and my assertion of the information. And right now, it's all over the place. But as I always tell people, you got to start at the beginning of the story. And that's a place that nobody wanted to start because everybody's so gung-ho and jumping on the gun of, well, it's the Secret Service fault. It's their fault. It's their fault. Well, when you said that a while ago, you didn't know that he was already on the radar when he got in the room. So that means if he's on the radar, you put him on the radar before you even call Secret Service. Then you should have never let him in. That makes no sense. I'm already having to watch this former president. Now you want me to watch some kid that you didn't have to let in the first damn place. You saw something about him strange, peculiar, devices on him. Why would you let the damn guy in? That don't make no sense. Now we hear that the family realized he hadn't come home. Some are saying in the article, we don't know if they knew that the rifle was missing. Well, then that don't make no sense because allegedly he used the rifle for target shooting and had permission before to use it. So what does the family know about their son, his demeanor, his attitude? Allegedly they're befuddled at what transpired last Saturday. But did they know that the child is mentally ill, unstable, depressed? Did they know that something was wrong with their child? Because in order for you to call the police to say, we're worried about his welfare, something triggered you to call. Because if you normally let him use the gun to target you, why would you get upset because he didn't come back in a couple hours? Is it they knew more about their son and they're not telling the truth, that they knew that maybe he was mentally unstable, had some issues, depression, volatile, I don't know. So, see, you got to go into the belly of the beast. Was he volatile with his parents? What type of parents does he have? Are they volatile? Do they fight, fuss, licensed social workers, whatever? One would think they would see the signs that something's off with their child. They also saying they didn't know what he was doing in the last couple of whatever, weeks, months, what, years, what are we saying? He's supposed to be going to college in the fall. Just graduated with an engineering science degree in May. So he seemed like he had plans to do something with himself. He worked at a nursing home doing dietary aid. Did he have friends, family that he talked to, did things with, activities? Haven't heard of that. These people are quiet people, they say, stay to themselves. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody's not out mingling with everybody. They don't make you bad people. But they're going to have a hard road because now their son has been accused of attempting to unalive a former president. And they've got to live that down. And that's a terrible place to be. Because these may be generally, decent people. And it's not their fault that something's wrong with their son, unhinged. We hear that he searched Biden, Trump, other government officials, DNC. So this is like somebody who was just wanting to exact harm to me. Because if I have a target in mind, why am I searching all these other people, other politicians? You can't be searching for Biden and Trump. They're both adversaries, so that don't make sense. This looks like somebody who just wanted to wreak havoc. Mad at the world, depressed, upset, vengeful. I'm going to take somebody out. I don't give a damn who it is. Republican, Democrat, middleman, don't matter. This is why I always tell people why you don't jump on the gun on assumptions. Because they couldn't tell you anything about him. The FBI couldn't tell you what he was doing, who he was talking to, how he leaned. Parents are liberal, libertarians, Democrats. He's registered Republican, donated to the Blue Act, 21 or so, because maybe he didn't leave a blueprint. Maybe he wasn't in cahoots with anybody, no groups, no cults, no nothing. Just bitch ass mad. That's why I listen first before I form an opinion. Because a lot of people have not done that pertaining to Thomas Crooks. You just automatically assume you knew what the hell happened out in Butler. And the government's telling you they don't know nothing. So how could you know? And now we hear that Steam account, which is a gaming system, app, whatever, is a fake account. So allegedly he didn't post that something was going to happen on July 13th. Who is Thomas Crooks? Why did he go to this rally to attempt to unalive Donald Trump? One person perished, other people wounded. What happened? Secret Service allegedly knew he was on the property. Is that true? What is the truth? Let's talk about this alleged post that now FBI is debunking as Thomas Crooks' post. A lot of he said, she said. July 13th will be my premiere. Watch as it unfolds.
Unleashing that intel power. Nice.
Sorry about that. Brief intermission.
An unclassified briefing to lawmakers is revealing new details about what unfolded the day of the assassination attempt on former President Trump. Law enforcement sources found a post to the gaming platform Steam. That post reads, "July 13th will be my premiere. Watch as it unfolds." Sources say a search of his phone revealed Crooks looked up the dates of Trump's rally as well as dates for the Democratic National Convention in Chicago.
He should have been eliminated one way or the other within 1 or 2 or 3 minutes.
Sources also say the suspect was spotted near some metal detectors before the shooting.
Right there.
Investigators say his behavior at that security point caught the eye of someone in enforcement, and authorities tried to approach him at that point, but he disappeared into the crowd. This is now demanding answers.
He disappeared. That makes no sense. If you thought there was anything nefarious, suspicious about his behavior, anything on his persons, you should have pulled him to the side and had him wait and had somebody come talk to him, such as Secret Service, police department, state trooper. This is bullshit. This is bullshit. A man has lost his life. And as I said, people are blaming the Secret Service. Many people are blaming the Secret Service for this, but the point is Secret Service was not checking him in. So somebody has to stand account for that. That does not befall on Secret Service. Secret Service was not checking in random people. So if you thought there was something nefarious in his behavior, his demeanor, what he had on his purses, in his pocket, whatever, somebody's purse, it's all the same. You should have said, "We need to talk to you, please step over here." And then you should have checked their ID, checked their purses, all that, patted them down, asked, "What's this gadget? What do you need this for?" Ask questions. And if you were still concerned and you wanted to let them in, you should have had them follow. To sit here now and say, "Oh, he got away from us," that's bullshit. Then you should have never let him in. Stop this nonsense. Doesn't make any sense. He got away. Oh, he drifted into the crowd. Well, obviously, whatever you saw wasn't that important then. You know, just stop it. Nassau man sentenced to 20 years for helping ISIS. That's one of my posts as well. Please check out the said content, everybody. On my community posts, knocking down the stories. Secret Service cannot blame local police. Security analyst weighs in. Thank you for joining me. Well, now, can't blame them. Can't blame them. That's what they're saying. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Doing too much, everybody.
An ever-evolving situation here. So we got that new information from I'd like to welcome in Bob Kinder, a retired military officer, as well as founder of security services company, the Kinder Group. Bob, thank you so much for being with us. First of all, we're learning a lot. This is an ever-evolving situation here. So we got that new information from Evan. We got that new information from Brian that clearly on this plan, local police were supposed to cover the building, that local police were actually at the building, inside on the second floor, though not on the roof. And apparently the sniper did not shoot the gunman, Thomas Crooks, because he thought Crooks was also a sniper. But I ask you, Bob, at the end of the day, should the Secret Service be the agency that is ultimately responsible?
I want to be very clear that Secretary Cheadle and the subordinate on-ground commander, the on-scene commander, they're responsible for everything that their organization does or fails to do. And in this case, their mission was simply to protect the president, the former president, from any and all harm that can become him. And
I want you all to look at this photograph.
From any and all harm that can was simply to protect.
Look at that area view and you ask yourself, who in the hell could man that property? I understand that they were in charge of Mr. Trump, but look at this visual right here. That's a lot of land to man anything. I don't care who you are. That's just a lot.
I want to be very clear that Secretary Cheadle and the subordinate on-ground commander, the on-scene commander, they're responsible for everything that their organization does or fails to do. And in this case, their mission was simply to protect the president, the former president, from any and all harm that can come him, and they failed miserably. You cannot blame a subordinate organization. When the Secret Service gets their mission, they they see all the organizations that they can bring to bear to tackle this event: state police, local law enforcement, EOD, those types of organizations. Get everybody together, look at what the capabilities are for the separate organizations, and assign them roles and responsibilities that fit those capabilities. And this is not when you pass out the roles and responsibilities, it's not action past, action complete. You have to lead and follow up and ensure everyone clearly understands what their missions, roles, and responsibilities are. And you cannot assume anything, because there are various levels of experience here.
Absolutely. And we know, Bob, there are multiple investigations happening right now into the events of the weekend. Which one is the...
So let's go there. The responsibility falls on the Secret Service. So what did they do and did not do? We hear that they talked to the police and told them, we cannot man the staging area. We're getting conflicting information on who was in the building. We're going from they were in the building to now they weren't in that building. They were in another building. Now we're hearing it was on the second floor of another building. So as I had said earlier, well, if they were in the building, wouldn't they hear the person crawling up the wall on the roof? So now we're hearing they weren't in that building. But as I said, if you look at the area view of the rally, to me, it don't matter who the hell was running it. There's no way you would have enough people, because you have to think about a mile in and a mile out, as I heard a man say earlier on this commentary. Roads need to have been blocked, and there are side streets behind those back buildings, those outbuildings that should have been patrolled and manned, and I get it. They should have talked to all parties, state police, sheriff's department, whomever. And I think they should have told Donald Trump this is not a good idea, because it's too much land to cover. Because as I said, you have outbuildings, you have side streets, you have homes nearby. It was too much property connecting the venue. You got trees where you can't even see if a squirrel's in the damn tree, let alone a human. It's common sense. So did they tell Trump, I don't think this is a good idea. The place is too vast. We don't have the manpower to man the property. Because if you want to keep blaming the Secret Service, then somebody should have told Mr. Trump, hey, we don't have the manpower for this. It's too much to try to delegate. Because when you look at an area view, there is no way there was enough people to man it. I don't care if it was Secret Service or the police, the sheriff. Now, the sheriff's department, he has stand firm, that chief, that he feels like his guys did everything they needed to do. He's basically, I guess, he don't want to take the blame for what happened to Trump and the other people. I get it. But the point is, there are too many agencies involved, and as you hear this man saying, different levels of competency. Exactly. So we've got blame over here. But it wasn't a good idea to have it there for that very reason. You don't have the manpower. That's first and foremost. You know you don't have the manpower. You should have told Mr. Trump, this is not a good idea. We don't recommend having the rally here. It's too vast. We don't have the power to block off the streets, block off the side roads, man the outbuildings, man the land. Because when you look at the area view, you're not still even getting a real full 360 of everything. You can go to Google Earth, you can go to whatever. Baby, you go to Google Earth and go way up like 30,000 feet, 26,000 feet, look down. Common sense will tell you there's no way the Secret Service had that type of manpower. And that's where this was a problem. It was a bad idea. This is not a structure where you have doors that can close and lock. See, at the Republican convention, you got doors that shut. You got people on the outside manning all points, on the roof, in hallways. This is not the same. I would not have recommended this. So I like to know whose idea was it to go to Butler at this farmland location? Mr. Trump's, his team, advisor, who? You had to have known this was not a good idea. You assume because it's in the middle of nowhere, he's been there before, they don't have high crime, oh, this is a great place to have a rally. Well, it wasn't a good place because you were assuming what? Somebody would not do something to him. You can't have that type of mindset. What? He's not a sitting president, so he can't be a sitting duck? Well, he was. And now we see that this guy, he's searching all kind of people. I don't even think it was about Donald Trump. Because if Donald Trump was a target, he would have been searching other people, other organizations. He was also searching what? People that's head of the FBI. What you searching for them for? I think this boy was troubled. He was a troubled young man. He was just riding the wave of pretending he was doing well in life, and he wasn't. That's obvious. This was a bad idea. That's my opinion. It's a bad idea.
What's the most critical from your perspective?
It's the FBI's, and I would encourage that they have other organizations participate because we all have different levels of experience, and have everybody go in, break down exactly what happened from when they accepted the mission, when they were given the task to secure this rally, to when those events happened. Break down, it's called an after-action review, what went well, what didn't go well, and what were those breakdowns, and they have to be disseminated. We have to learn these valuable lessons. Their job not only was to protect the former president, but in this case, it's to protect democracy.
Absolutely. And Bob, we know that there's still so much that we don't know. We do know now that the shooter wrote a message on a gaming platform that, quote, July 13th will be my premiere watch as it unfolds. Bob, do you think we are any closer to learning a motive?
I believe we are, and the investigation will tell us exactly what happened because we've got so many tools available to us to dig deeply into the media, social media, to find out what sites this individual was on, perhaps where his affiliations were. So I'm confident that the FBI and other organizations are going to get to the bottom of what his motives were.
God, look at that
My
photo.
last question for you,
Jesus,
Bob.
these people are
You touched
everywhere.
on this in the beginning, but right now we know that the Secret Service director is refusing to step down. Do you believe she will ultimately step down or be pushed out? And what will accountability look like?
I think accountability has to start with her. Look in the mirror and determine, was I overall responsible for the protection of the president? And the answer is yes. And in this case, the buck stops with her.
Wow.
Make the hard decision, make the right decision, step away. I failed. And let's put somebody into that position that can tackle this task because we still have a lot of ground to cover, a lot of months ahead of us before the election. Let's make sure that everybody is protected.
Absolutely. All right, Bob Kinder, thank you so much.
Is it her responsibility? Because what you have to ask yourself is the obvious. People are put in positions all the time. And if they're not there to know what their subordinates are doing or the lead person, should they be held accountable for what happened? Just asking. Because she was not there. So should she be held accountable for what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania? Who was the lead person? Male, female. How many people were working the detail? See, all that matters because I don't think they had enough people. And as you see the surveillance, the area view from drone footage, helicopter footage, Google Earth, there's no way they had enough people. The land was vast. And when I saw the area view, I keep seeing pictures of the area view, I'm like, nobody had control of this situation. Nobody had control of this situation. I don't care who was in charge. Nobody had control because it was just too much land. Way too much land. A person could have came from any direction, east, west, north, or south, and made their way onto the property. Eased their way in with a weapon. Nobody would have known nothing because you didn't have it sectioned off. You didn't have walls up. You didn't have metal gates put up. Nobody's going to spend that kind of money just for a rally. But some would say, well, you should have. Because even looking out to the crowd on the ground, there were a lot of people there. I don't even know how many people were there. But you had people in the arena, in the seats, in the rafters. Then you got to count the people walking around, standing around. Then you got the people who are outside who didn't come in. There's no telling how many people there were. And you did not have none of those roads roped off, quarantined off. Even on the property, you didn't have none of that roped off, where people are standing in a circle to guard anybody walking up trying to cross over a rail or a rope. See? Come on now. Did they tell Mr. Trump, we don't have enough manpower? You need to change the venue. If so, why didn't he change it? Did somebody go back to tell Ms. Cheatham, this is not working. This don't look good. We don't have enough people. Did she know there weren't enough people? Because naturally she's running everything, so she should know about what's going on with the former president, the venue, how many people she has on the ground. Did somebody call her back and say, hey, I don't think this is a good idea. We don't have enough people. It's too much land. We don't got the streets roped off. We don't got the side roads roped off. Because I saw side streets behind those outbuildings. And I said, oh, man, there is nothing showing anything roped off. So if you didn't have the land guarded, you wouldn't have the streets guarded. What was the discussion about not having enough men and women in the Secret Service to guard him on the ground? Because now they're saying Secret Service told the police we cannot guard the building because we don't have the people. So as I said, did they go back and tell Mr. Trump, we don't have enough people to guard the outbuildings, to guard the perimeters? Because I'm going to be truthful, even with the perimeters of the outbuildings, you worried about somebody getting on top of the building as this guy did, that still to me ain't nothing compared to shit. The rest of the circumference of the area and the acreage. Because like somebody said, you can shoot the AR-15 and high-power weapons from anywhere. Person could have been in a tree. They didn't necessarily have to be on top of the buildings. Stay well. Now we have information. He hid a weapon. He had to hid the weapon because he got through the checkpoint and didn't have the weapon. Who's going to let you in with an AR-15 broken down or whole? Nobody. So where was the weapon hidden? Lord have mercy. This is a hot mess. I swear. This is a hot butter damn mess. Because now you want to say the Secret Service knew he was there. Now we're also hearing information that the sniper thought he was one of their own. Jesus Christ, I can't. This is bad business, everybody. Bad business. Going through all of my information. This is the post that Jim Simmons posted. He's a fire chief, former fire chief, fire marshal. He posted a little to the right, next time, please, pertaining to the assassination attempt on Trump's life. He has been asked to step down. He has removed himself. How do you feel about that post? I ask you to weigh in pertaining to that information. What do you think? Obviously, they said he doesn't represent who they want in the community as a fire chief. Fire post 10 comments pertaining to the post. Somebody says, coming from someone who should have known better, it opens the door to questioning his judgment in other matters as well. Next person says, I am very much anti-Trump, but continuing the divisiveness isn't the answer. I get the frustrations of many, but let's not give them more reasons to blame Democrats for what happened Saturday. What happened Saturday was because someone was mentally unwell. That's it. Next person, yes, he should stand down as a firefighter. Stand down as a firefighter, lost his life the day, very unprofessional. He should be fired. Somebody else says too much damage, corruption, should just like what happened to our Maui people and land. Shaking my head, needs to be major clean house and change. I don't know what the hell it has to do with this. Somebody says, Cat says, two wrongs don't make a right. The comment was inappropriate, especially for a person in his position. Somebody else says, lots of hate out there. People have turned on one another. Shame. Queen replied, the world has been this way. Molly replies again, it has. I was remembering what was going on when I was real young. You're correct. And then War Eagle replied, awful person. There you have it. So the man, Mr. Simmons, is no longer the fire chief and fire marshal. I think it's called Prospect Park, Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken. He made that post to his social media account. Obviously, somebody got wind of it, was not happy, and now he is no longer the fire chief and fire marshal. Obviously, he had some type of decent standing in the community. Many people post, say things, should they be held accountable, deemed a horrible person because they don't care for Donald Trump. And as I said here, be honest. Every day we wish harm, death, and bad luck on others. No matter their flaws or crimes, should a person be judged negatively for saying the same about the Trump attack? The guest I had on earlier, I was trying to make a point when I was saying about God don't judge the sin. And I couldn't make my point because they were going on and on saying, well, you don't compare, molesting a child to attacking Trump. What I was trying to say in general is God judges sin as sin. So I'll make the point here. If he sees sin as sin, what's this retribution to what happened to Donald Trump for something he's done, said? Just asking. So we know the sin of this young man trying to kill a man, he got unalived. So him trying to unalive Trump, is it an issue that Trump did something, said something in his life or past, and the earth, universe, God, whomever you want to say, was exacting a retribution against him for things he had done? That's why I was talking about God and sin, that he don't judge one sin versus the other. But I wasn't able to make my point during that live stream earlier. So what I asked you was, should a person be judged negatively for saying the same about the Trump attack? 57% said yes, 32% said no, 10% not sure, 1% don't care. Pennsylvania fire chief resigns after sharing Facebook post condoning Trump attack. Was it right to ask him to step down? Video post is under this poll. 79% of you said yes, 14% said no, 5% not sure, 1% don't care. Let me see how many people voted. 77 votes. One person replied. This is condoning death, murder, in my opinion. Okay. Hello, everybody in the chat. Just going over my community posts. Well, I was. Hold on. There we go. I can't read the comments. Somehow it throws me off when I go back in. So let's hear from this guy who got fired for sharing that meme to his community Facebook page. Delaware County Fire Chief resigns over controversial post. 6 ABC Philadelphia is the source. Well,
Off the job, this after making some controversial comments surrounding the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. He made those comments on Facebook. Action News reporter Caroline Goggin live for us there in Prospect Park with the very latest on what was said. Caroline.
Well, Gray, the former fire chief and fire marshal here in Prospect Park, tells us that the comment that he made on Facebook was a terrible and stupid mistake. As you mentioned tonight, he is off the job, a decision that both borough officials and fire officials tell us they agree with. In the aftermath of the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump, this post surfaced on Facebook. A little to the right next time, please. It was posted by Jim Simmons, the fire marshal in the borough of Prospect Park, who also served as the chief of the Prospect Park Fire Company.
I think it's absolutely horrible to wish any harm to anybody.
Reaction to the post started pouring in, getting the attention of borough and fire officials. Representatives in the borough say Simmons' post and the subsequent comments were grossly inappropriate, expressing approval of the violent attempt on former President Trump's life. Borough leaders say they spoke with Simmons on Sunday. The fire company's board of trustees says it also met last night to discuss the controversial comments. By this morning, Simmons took to social media again, this time announcing his resignation from both roles. He said, "I am truly sorry that my actions as an individual now bring Prospect Park Borough and Fire Company into a negative light. I know that my position requires me to always put the borough and fire company in mind while posting or speaking anywhere in public."
I don't think it's appropriate at all, but you see it on both sides. I mean, it's just not something our leaders should be doing.
The fire company says it agreed Simmons should step down. The borough called him a dedicated public servant, but added grossly inappropriate language condoning political violence forfeits the confidence of our public that such official may continue to serve.
You're a public figure. You can't be encouraging violence.
And the fire company tells us tonight that its thoughts and prayers are currently with the family of the firefighter who was killed on Saturday afternoon at that rally in Western Pennsylvania. The fire company also tells us that the assistant fire chief here in Prospect Park, he will be filling in as the fire chief from now on. I asked both the fire company and borough officials here in Prospect Park for an interview about this issue. They declined further comment. We also went to the home of Simmons earlier today to see if he wanted to do an interview with us, but he didn't answer the door when we knocked. That's the latest live in Prospect Park. I'm Caroline Goggin for Action News at 10 on PHL 17. Gray?
Okay, Caroline, thanks for the update. The Department of Justice.
Well, naturally, he's not going to want to talk. He's already said what he had to say.
Marshal off the job. This after making some controversy.
He's not going to want to talk to anybody after that. He's apologized. Was it genuine, or was it just because he got caught and asked to leave? You're entitled to your opinion. People say ugly things, as that one guy said, on both sides. People say ugly things, and they don't think about the public position they carry in life. School teacher, doctor, lawyer. He's a public official, so people say, well, you should have known better than to put that on a Facebook post. Maybe he didn't care at the time. I would say he didn't care at the time. But was it right for them to ask him to step down? That's, you're entitled to your opinion. That's the set information. We're keeping it moving on. All information has a source.
Angel
commercials. They're daunting, are they not? Lord Jesus.
Video of the suspected shooter sharing his experience as the chaos unfolded on Saturday night. Fox 25's Keith Daniels takes us through his perspective.
Well, the man who captured images of that suspected gunman on the roof that day says he believes law enforcement could have done more to stop that deadly shooting. His thoughts as he describes to me what he saw that day. There are images that won't soon be forgotten. Suspected killer, 20-year-old Thomas Crooks, on the roof of a building, taking aim.
When I seen him holding the gun like he was taking aim, I thought, oh my God, this guy's about to shoot into the crowd or something. So I turned my phone on.
Let's repeat that right there.
The crowd or something. So I turned my phone on.
I have been vocal about my opinion pertaining to the people at the rally. I stand on what I've said. I don't understand this man's commentary. You say you did not know if you wanted to speak publicly about what you saw at the rally. Okay? You've decided now to speak publicly. You said you turned your phone on after you saw the man on top of the roof. Where I have the problem with this is why in the world would you want to film somebody on top of a building after you just said, I didn't know if he was going to turn the gun onto the crowd. So if he would turn the gun on the crowd, he could have shot you, sir. You and your wife. Make this make sense to me. Because there were people all over the grounds, fairgrounds, okay? Let's keep it real. People in the immediate area where the stage is, behind the stage, and spread out. So everybody's doing their own thing while Trump has been shot, other people shot. People not knowing what's really going on, okay? But at some point, people found out that there was one shooter dead. I just don't understand the filming. You're right there. So the people over close to the stage may not have known at first what was going on. You saw him there before maybe other people saw him, spectators. I'm trying to understand the point of filming. That's what you can't make me understand, because I don't. You can't say, well, I saw the shooter on the roof. I didn't know if he was going to shoot at the crowd or not, so I took my phone out to film him. What type of fucking sense does that make? I don't know if he's going to shoot at the crowd or not, pan the crowd. So how is filming him going to assure you he wouldn't shoot at you, your wife, and the other people? Because other people did get shot. A police officer allegedly climbed up there and fell backwards because he aimed the gun at him. So help me understand how filming him was helpful. What, to just verify that he was up there? Okay, good. We now know the shooter was up there. But what does that have to do with you preserving your life, your wife's life? I don't get it. People were filming even after they realized there was no threat. I'm just trying to understand the mentality in the filming. As I said, I know that there were news people there filming, not knowing, of course, there was going to be a shooting. Who knew there was going to be a shooting except for the shooter? But what I don't understand is all these other people pulling out their damn phones, showing. It's bizarre to me. Because to me, if I don't know who's there shooting, I don't know if there's other people there shooting, how is filming this going to help me live if I don't know anything? Shouldn't preserving your life be more important than pulling out your phone? This conversation has been a hot topic pertaining to social media for a few years now, with the fact of going live, the option to go live on Facebook, IG, TikTok, YouTube. When do you say to yourself, life is more important than filming a tragic event? Because we've heard people do this. They see people shooting at each other and they take out their phone. They don't think, oh, that bullet could hit me. Let me film these people shooting. What kind of sense does that make? Why are you filming these people? There's no way I'm getting ready to stand out, just like I said to somebody earlier. If I go look out my window right now, out my bedroom window, and let's say there was a building facing me, or somebody was standing below with a rifle or shotgun, and they are pointing the gun up towards the window, how stupid would it be for me to continuously stand in the window and then go run get my phone, go back to the window to fucking film that person pointing a gun at my window? Please help me understand. That makes no sense to me. That I'm going to stand here and watch you point a gun at me and film you pointing the gun at me. And last I checked, a dead man tells no tales. So this guy to me is ignorant. And a lot of the behavior of the people there at that rally was ignorant to me, because they've got you all on film being beside a dead man, people trying to resuscitate him, a guy trying to resuscitate him, blood's on people's coat, shirt, hair, all of that. They carry him out. State trooper telling you to still stay down, because I guess they're trying to assess the situation. You all are still sitting up talking like you're at the fucking picture show. Then they finally decide to tell you to move, and some of you're on camera, you don't even want to move. One lady just trying to break her neck to see what was going on to the right of her, where the dead man was on the damn rafters. Honey, he's dead and he's gone. What are you looking for? Help me understand this type of behavior, because I don't understand it. I don't understand none of this. This is asinine to me.
Mike DeFrisha said he started recording on his cell phone. The still photo grabbed from that video.
Yeah, we had just got there a little bit late.
He and his wife Amber live in Crawford County, Pennsylvania. They were at the Trump rally in Butler Saturday. They arrived late, so they sat outside of the secured area near the building where Crooks waited.
We were there maybe 10 minutes waiting for Mr. Trump to come on. And then after he came on and started to speak, my wife shortly after he started nudged me and said, "Hey, what's going on behind us?" And that's when we noticed some commotion.
Yeah, where's that? DeFrisha said he noticed Crooks climbing the roof, then noticed he had a gun. They tried alerting police, then took cover.
I kind of felt I could see the guy with my eyes. I knew where he was at. I got me and my wife behind a big tree, and I felt that we were safe.
Then you see the gun, you're like, oh my God, we have to hide. But there's nowhere to hide. There was a couple of trees to hide behind. So you didn't know whether to hit the deck or run or just stand still. It's very chaotic in them split.
It's chaotic, but it wasn't chaotic enough to run. Help me understand. Oh, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to run, but you would take out your phone. You're contradicting yourself, because it can't be both. It can't be chaotic. It can't be shocked, but you pull out your phone. That makes no logical sense. You chose to film the guy on the roof. Just admit it. I chose to film it. I was not thinking about my safety. I was not thinking about my wife's safety. Ma'am, you didn't think to tell your husband, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's run. Because common sense will tell anybody in this story, you know where your car is parked. You know how to get away back to your car. So to say, well, I don't know where to go. Well, you get the hell out of there. Because you're contradicting yourself to say, I didn't know where to go, didn't know where to run, it was chaotic, but you're filming it. So that means you made a sound choice to film him. So that means you didn't feel a threat. You can't feel a threat if you're filming. Because if he shot the one guy, police, who came up there on the roof and he fell backwards down, whichsoever, if I misquoted it, cool. He fell backwards, he fell down, whichsoever, don't matter. He fell. The point is, you're right there watching him. And you said, the husband, I didn't know if he was going to point at us or whomever, the crowd. Well, then why the fuck would you pull your phone out? This makes no sense to me. You don't even know if there's another shooter up there with them or on the ground. So if you don't know what's really going on, why would you film it? I don't get this. I'm sorry, I just don't get this.
Split seconds.
If you want to really see something, this chaos after gunfire.
Although the grades the former president's here, Mr. Trump narrowly escaping a more serious, possibly even fatal blow. But one man in the crowd is killed.
Look at these
Two
people.
others wounded. Secret Service
Jumping up
snipers
and down,
take
screaming.
down Crooks.
Lord have
Killing
mercy.
him.
It was devastating to us. I mean, to know that we watched a guy shoot somebody, and also even the shooter. I mean, we watched him get shot right in front of us. I mean, we seen it. We seen the aftermath.
The couple believing some.
Oh my goodness. You watched the aftermath. It was devastating to know somebody got murdered. You watched the killer get shot. And you didn't even think there could be somebody else out there as well with the shooter. Help me understand. Help me understand this type of fucking barbaric behavior, because I don't get it. Look at this person here. Got their phone up. People got their phones up. Another phone. You don't even really know what's going on in the crowd with you. Who's way over here where the shooter was. Let's go over here. Way over here in La La Land. You have no idea what's going on. You just see them taking Mr. Trump off the stage, and you have no idea what is going on back there, over there, over there, over there, down there, down there. And then you go on a live broadcast to say, I didn't know if I wanted to talk to the news or not. I saw the shooter on the roof and I pulled my phone out, but then the wife says, oh, it was so chaotic. We didn't really know what to do. There was nowhere to run, but yet you're filming the shooter. So you can't say you were shocked or in fear because you're filming him. And at any moment, he could have just started shooting you. Jesus Christ. This country, these people here are fucked up.
Something more could have been done to prevent the tragic shooting. Talking now about who, besides the shooter, should be held accountable.
People are trying to say the local cops and this and that might not have done their job. And in my opinion, and I haven't put this out anywhere else besides now that it's been a couple days, we're processing some of this. You know, it's Secret Service's job to keep terror of the president.
Well, after what happened, Mrs. DeFricia says she doesn't believe that she will be going to any more rallies, but her husband says he will, believing what happened was an isolated event. Reporting tonight, Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News.
So everything's an isolated event, if that's the case. Going outside right now and the piano falls on your head, that's isolated. Crossing the street, you get hit by a bus, that's isolated. And we get it. You can't live in fear. So the wife says she doesn't want to go back to any rallies. The husband says he will go. Well, you can best believe if some shit jumps off, he'll be the first one with his camera phone out. I'm just saying. He'll be the first one, and then he'll say the same thing he said here. I need time to process what happened. And then he'll go live in front of a camera to tell you what the hell happened at the event. I don't understand what the hell I'm hearing. Because I've been in places where people were shooting, and trust me, Queen was not trying to take a picture. That was the farthest thing from my mind. Oh, let me go see who's shooting in here. Hell no. I'm trying to get the hell out of Dodge. Trying to live. Because a bullet don't got no names on it. Damn, these people are crazy. So we got Secret Service spotted Trump shooter on roof 20 minutes before. So we're going from, first it said 1 minute, then it's gone to 20 minutes. Now it's gone to an hour. What's the truth? Then we've got local police told Secret Service they could not secure the building. Let's talk about that because that needs to be said. We need to dissect that.
With a degree in water quality technology.
Brief intermission. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Ball XL, everybody. 3-part live.
Responsibility, but the Secret Service is solely responsible for the design and the implementation and the execution of the site.
The head of the Secret Service is facing tough questions. She first said it was up to local law enforcement to secure the building the shooter got access to, but now she's sharing a different message. KDK's Jennifer Barresso is live in Butler Township, getting a clearer picture of the communication breakdown during and even before Saturday's rally. Jen.
And we have new information on several key questions. The main one, what law enforcement agency was responsible for securing the building that Thomas Crooks used for his assassination attempt? Butler County District Attorney Rich Goldinger says the Secret Service was told local police couldn't be responsible for securing the AGR building during the building that Thomas Crooks used for his assassination attempt. Butler.
I want you to look at this visual because naturally that's not all of the land. I want you to look from there to there, to there, to there, because naturally this isn't the whole visual. Who could man all of that? I want you to just sit there and look at that photograph for just a second. No matter who you think is at fault or not at fault. Who in the world would sign themselves up to have a rally on property, because we don't even know where it starts or stops, who owns the farmland that have this rally, and then we got the outbuildings over there. I want you to just use common sense of how in the world could any human being times how many more human beings could man all of this. Just look how far this goes. Back in there. What's all of that? Trees. All of this over here. That's not counting what's over there, what's back here that we can't see. And you use common sense. How in the world did somebody think this was a safe venue to have a rally? I just want you to look at this picture because this is not a full area view. This is a portion of the view. Yes, should have been indoors, exactly. Exactly, not a safe place. So that's why I said what I said before last weekend. This made no sense to have this. That's why I said, did they tell Mr. Trump, I don't recommend this place because it's too vast. We don't have the manpower to man all of the land. That's a lot. Because we don't even have an accurate number of the acreage. Because you don't even know that who owns this, owns that, or owns that, owns that, owns that. And it go on and on and on. Come on. Round and round and round and round and round. Streets. These are streets. Stay woke. That's concrete. Concrete. So this goes on and on and on. And you think this was a good place to have a damn rally because you're thinking, well, we put up some perimeters. We have a checkpoint where you come in, I see your ID, I run you through the little meter thing, whatever, wherever it started, and that's the end of it. That's where they made the mistake. And they knew they couldn't man it. So that's why I said, did they tell Donald Trump, hey, sir, we don't have the power of people to man the land. We cannot just bank on some little metal gates that you stand up and think that's going to keep people in and out. Because this guy got in, where did he hide the weapon? We have information he hid a weapon. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Butler County District Attorney Rich Goldinger says the Secret Service was told local police couldn't be responsible for securing the AGR building during the Trump rally.
It was indicated we did not have the manpower to, take that task on as well, based on our number of officers on duty.
Butler Township Manager Tom Knights confirms that message was sent to the Secret Service 2 days before the Trump rally. Butler Township also told them their team could only handle traffic control. KDK has also learned the Secret Service never responded to those messages.
And do you know what happened in terms of the security plan for that area?
I don't. All I know is our township police department was very clear that we did not have the manpower for it.
So tell me about what was said about what they did to assess the area, the Secret Service.
Yeah, I know they had a walk around with the field. Our officers were part of that walk around. Several buildings were identified as areas of concern, which it did include the AGR building.
Secret Service Director Kim Cheadle says police were originally supposed to be on the roof. A decision was made to move them inside because of a sloped roof. Cheadle cited safety factors, but it's not clear who made that decision or how it was communicated. My sources have told me that there was one or two local SWAT team members in an AGR building near where the shooter Thomas Crooks was. Is that your understanding too?
It is my understanding, yes.
They were inside though?
They were inside, yes.
Not outside?
No.
Instead, sources say they were looking out the windows with no access to the roof. We've asked who was responsible for that area and what instructions they got from the Secret Service, but no one will comment. And DA Richard Goldinger just telling me right now, I don't know whose responsibility that building was, but somebody should have been there. Now, the FBI is investigating the attempted assassination, and Congress and the Department of Homeland Security have begun inquiries. But the main question that everybody wants to know is how Thomas Crooks pulled off this assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump, and he killed one bystander and he injured two others. Reporting live in Butler Township, Jennifer Barrasso, KDKA TV News.
I'm gonna stop right there. Well, Ms. Coate, when you're putting a tripod up to hold the weapon is heavy. So common sense would tell you that probably wouldn't be a good idea for a tripod with the weapon, because of the weight of the weapon, all the weight would go towards the person if it's on a slope, depending on the slopes going in the front or going to the back. It wouldn't sit straight on a slope. And now we're hearing that there were trees obstructing the view of the building. So the sniper would have to look through trees to take down the suspect. That's the latest information that I read earlier. Very interesting. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Just bringing you the latest. It's all crazy. Because every day the story keeps changing. So first it was they were in the building, and now they're in the building with windows looking out. So then I asked, well, wouldn't you hear somebody on top of the building with a gun, moving around, climbing up with a gun? Wouldn't that make noise? Then it switched to, well, the building they were in wasn't the building that he was on top of. So what's the truth? I don't know. So police told Secret Service, we don't have the manpower to man this area. And we also hear the Secret Service told them they didn't have the manpower to watch the outbuildings. So we got two people saying to each other the same damn thing. I'm going to show something, because I have been talking about the behavior of everybody watching and the way people were acting so peculiar and bizarre at this rally once they realized somebody was unalived and acting like they just could not get the hell out of Dodge for safety. It's so bizarre to me. I want you to look at everything and ask yourself how you could control all of these people and watch them And why would you allow somebody in on a radar if you thought they were being suspicious? What was the point? Because local police allowed Mr. Crooks in with the devices they found suspicious. So why would you let him in? So look at all these people that they say they lost him in the crowd of these people. Then you should not have let him in. So watch and look at the crowd of people and make sense of all the information that you have heard. Look at the land and look at all the people. People were there early. I don't know. Local police is all I know.
Once and for all. Right? I'm sorry.
How many people were at this event? Say what, Coach? Let me take off that volume, the song. Sorry about that, because they'll copyright it. Look at the area. That's what I wanted people to pay attention to. I always tell people, everything you need to know about a story is at the beginning, not the middle, not the end. He got into this place. There was suspicion about devices he had, and yet he was let in. Secret Service was not the officiant to let him in. Although they were the ones who were supposed to be responsible for Donald Trump, they're not the ones who let in Thomas Crooks. So you let him in on the radar, which makes no sense. Then you go on to say, we lost him. That makes no sense. Secret Service tells the police, we can't man the outbuildings. The police tells Secret Service, we can't man the outbuilding. So that's where your problem was right there. So why in the world did you all let this go on at this fairgrounds? I don't get it. Did somebody tell Donald Trump this was not a good idea because we're both at odds on who's going to man the outbuilding? And then quite frankly, you all should have been at odds anyway because it was too big. The land was too big itself. The area was too big. You all were only concerned with this right here. That was not your problem. Out there, out there, out there, out there was your problem. The places that a person could easily just walked up and had 12 guns, bombs, detonators. We learned he had a lot of devices in the trunk of the car in a metal box. He had a detonator on him. Bulletproof vest at the house, I believe also was on him or in the car. He had hazard materials at his house ordered months ago. That leads me to believe he was wanting to harm somebody. Not necessarily Donald Trump, but somebody. Because it was only announced July 3rd that Trump was going to Butler. So why did he have hazardous materials months ago? Why was he looking up Biden and other government officials? The DNC. He had mass destruction on his mind before he even knew Donald Trump was even going to be in Butler, Pennsylvania. And that's my opinion. This is why I always tell people, get the information first before you jump on the bandwagon of a theory. So far, they have nothing to say he was with this group, that group, he felt this way or that way. Could it be he was a lonely, miserable person wanting to hurt people? He was inadequate. He didn't feel good about himself. He was mad at the world. This could go back to the rifle club business in high school. He was mad because he didn't make the club. He's mad maybe he don't have a girlfriend. He's mad because he feels some type of way. Maybe he didn't get along with his parents. He was bullied in school allegedly. There's 1,000 reasons that he could have exacted this. Not for the reason you think that it had something to do with Trump. I don't think Trump had anything to do with it. Not necessarily the main reason. I think he was mad at the world. So he found the opportunity to show the world what he's made of. Let me shoot my shot. Let me show the world I can shoot. Let me make my name in history. He had plans to even go to work, allegedly. Called in. I'm gonna need to be off tomorrow. I'll see you on Sunday. What does that tell you? He's a narcissist. I'm getting ready to kill this man and then I'm going back to work. Devices in the car, possibly used as a diversion, a distraction to exact harm. So I think it's interesting he didn't detonate it. Why not? You already got a police officer climbing up on the building. Why not detonate it? So everybody can start running and shooting. You just keep spraying. So he didn't do that either. He didn't keep shooting because eventually he got shot. What was his end goal? Because some might say, oh, I thought he might want to unalive himself or kill himself. Or, well, how are you going to kill yourself if you had plans to go to work? But he did end up getting unalived. Stay woke. Stay woke. I always try to pay attention to everything. I didn't jump on the bandwagon last week. I wanted to wait to hear everything out. Wanted to see what FBI found on this Mr. Crooks. I wanted to hear what the parents have to say. So far, they haven't spoken. I wanted to see what they found in his data, in his devices. If he was a part of any groups, affiliations, Facebook posts, TikTok posts. Now they're saying that stream, that Steam gaming system or whatever, that's fake. So I'm looking at the FBI like, well, damn, come on now. What's really going on? Now pay attention to the people here. They are now realizing that somebody's been shot. So obviously somebody's already been shot over there in that corner. That's why they're saying, hey, there's a shooter on the roof. But look at the behavior of the people there. Some are lying down. Right here, you have people lying down. But then you got the other people. Look at this guy. He's just sitting up like it's nothing. This person's lying down. Now we have a guy getting ready to go see about what's going on. People still looking, standing up. Look at the behavior of the people, how they're acting. You can't tell. Nobody's moving fast enough to get the hell out of Dodge. What in the hell was going on here? Mink coat, please. I don't know nothing about no shoe, girl. Look at how they're acting. Look at here. What are you looking for? Somebody's just been shot over there. What are you all doing? Look at this, standing up, talking. What are you talking about? Help the queen understand what the hell is going on in the minds of these people. Look at her, about falling, trying to get down. Somebody else running behind the scenes. Why are you people not getting out the fucking way? Now he's telling them to get down, get down. Make it make sense. Sweet Jesus. I've never seen such craziness in all my life. There's the victim lying there, being wrapped up, head wrapped up, being toted out. Sweet Jesus. Lord have mercy. Black guy, got blood on him. Just sitting there. No care to say, let me get the hell out of here. Let me go. How do you know there's still not an imminent threat? Just asking. Some smart people lying down. I'm going to lie down. I don't know who's still shooting, what they're doing. Other people standing up, looking. Make it make sense. Standing up, sitting up. Make it make sense. Here's the black guy. You got blood on you. Where are you going? Why are you going back to the stands? Stay woke, everybody. I just don't get it. Think this lady was grazed. You never hear anything about her or the other guy. They only talk about the two guys who were in critical condition. Their conditions have now been upgraded to stable. And the one guy who passed away, the firefighter, his services will be today. All this is bizarre behavior. Bizarre, bizarre, bizarre. As the guy who spoke earlier saying he was in shock, but yet you stood and filmed the shooter on the roof, not even caring that he could turn and have shot you and your wife. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Because there are people they showed that were running, trying to get away when they heard gunshots. And those are probably the people who were not near the Trump stage. And they did what was expected. Run like hell because you don't know what the hell is going on. Get your ass out of there. Just some stuff Queen got for herself. My little driftwood flower I got from the thrift store the other night. And my thinking man sitting there, he was lonely. He needed a friend. Sometimes a person does not need a motive to harm a specific person, just ammunition for the act itself. I posted that because I got a feeling that perhaps this young man just wanted to do harm to the world. Not necessarily Trump or Biden or whomever, just an angry person. Did Thomas Crooks plan an attack because of the past bullying and not getting into the high school rifle club? 7% yes, 28% no, 51% a combination of things. 7% not sure, 7% don't care. Thomas Crooks brought hazardous materials months ago. Did he have plans to harm whomever? And Trump was just a given opportunity. 59% yes, 17% no, 19% not sure, 5% don't care. Please watch my video, Thomas Matthew Crooks, The Plan. Raleigh Strain information, video released. Congress begins widespread probes into the attempted attack on Trump. More details emerging. Every day there's a different version pertaining to what has happened. Check out my content pertaining to Monica Williams, accused of killing Anitra West, Church's Chicken employee. This is a bad situation. And I won't doubt that there'll be more because we have a lot of crazy people, a lot of sick people. A lot of information to keep up with. Family members, social workers, did they know that something was wrong with their son? Reported him missing. Did they realize the gun was gone? Never returned back with the gun. They got worried. They said they thought about his welfare, concerned about his welfare. Is that why they called the police? Because maybe they thought, hey, he went and shot Donald Trump. Did they think that? It's curious. Right here, 13 hours ago, investigators now believe that the Steam account in the name of the man who shot at former President Donald Trump over the weekend is a fake. A U.S. official briefed on the matter told CNN. That's the latest development pertaining to Thomas Matthew Crooks. Let's see what the cell phone has to reveal 8 hours ago. Thank you for joining me. The don't care button. Yeah, I put that because some people don't really care about the topic or about the person you're talking about. So I go ahead and give that as an option as well. Why not? I go ahead and mention it.
At a campaign rally last weekend, used his phone to search for online images of both the former president and President Biden. That, according to sources familiar with this incident. Crooks also searched the names of FBI Director Christopher Wray and Attorney General Garland. No motive has been discovered as of yet. Following this new detail, a group of senators at the RNC confronted Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle Wednesday night for the agency's mistakes.
Why would anyone allow to go on stage when you know you've got a potential threat, you've got snipers that are trying to so I don't think that this is a question of this discussion.
While more details are under investigation in Freeport, Pennsylvania, the Thursday flags lined the streets as fire trucks led a van carrying the body of the man killed in the shooting, former Fire Chief Corey Comprator, and a private funeral will be held sometime tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, which is today. Funeral will be today once again. Prayers to the family.
Tonight, details of the former president's attempted assassin are emerging tonight. Investigators are sharing new details on what they've uncovered from the shooters.
So that's what we have pertaining to the phone. Other people were searched alongside Trump and Biden. So we now know he did search other people, DNC, other political figures. So as I said, in my assessment thus far with the information given, if factual, perhaps Trump was not his initial target. He was just the available target. Because to have all these people searched, and then you have the fact that the announcement for Trump going to Butler was on July 3rd. He only had a short window. The crime took place on the 13th. The announcement was on the 3rd. That's only 10 days. So he had 10 days to choose Donald Trump as his target. But he bought hazardous materials months before. So that means Trump was not on his radar. So I think he chose the available target because he wanted to make a name for himself. He had something to prove to himself, something to prove to the world. Perhaps he is or was, an angry individual, bitter, upset, mad at the world for whatever reason, and Trump just happened to fall in his lap, let's say. Oh, I'll go do that. I'll get noticed for that. I'll sit back and revel in my handiwork. But he did not survive the attempts on Mr. Trump's life. And that's my assertion pertaining to the information. Devices, detonators, rangefinder on them, going into the rally, put on radar, but nobody followed them around. Secret Service getting heat for being the ones to watch Mr. Trump. But as they have said, they told the police they didn't have enough manpower, and the police told Secret Service the same thing. So if we have two people telling each other the same thing, that they don't have manpower either side, then it should have never took place. So that's why I said, did the Secret Service tell Mr. Trump, we do not have adequate people to man the rally? The land is too big, too vast. The police don't have enough workers to work. This is a town of 13,000. Trump should have known better. You don't go to a place with 13,000 citizens and assume nothing could not jump off. You always have to expect the worst because you are a political figure. People that do not like you, that's just common sense. I don't care who you are. Doesn't matter. You cannot assume there wouldn't be smoke in the city because there was. And whether people want to judge this guy as inadequate or this and that, he got in there. That's how I look at it. Sharpshooter, not sharpshooter. He hit his fucking ear. That's attached to your face, attached to your head. And had he not been seen, he probably would have kept on shooting. Can't say, because he was shot. But I say he did pretty damn well up there on that damn roof for somebody that's supposed to be an amateur. And I'm not promoting what he did, but what I'm saying is, for him to be just a regular person who has had no military training, he got pass go. Even on the radar, allegedly. And somebody has to stand account for that as well. So you can blame the Secret Service until you blue in the face. Secret Service is not the one who let him in. So somebody still has to stand account for letting him in. And you can't now say after the fact, oh yeah, we noticed something strange about him. Oh, we were going to let somebody watch him. Let who watch him? That sounds stupid. You let him in and then you're going to say, oh, well, a Secret Service problem. They need to watch him. No, you should have never let him in. If you found something nefarious with him, suspicious about Thomas Crooks, you should have turned him away. Now, that's not to say he wouldn't have found a way on the property, because 9 times out of 10, he would have. And I do believe he hid his weapon. Let me search for that, and then I'm going to check out of here. Thank you for joining me. Because there's information that he hit the weapon, which I assume he did. So that means he went and searched the place. He also hit the weapon because he didn't have the weapon on him when he went through the checkpoint. So this is why I said they didn't have enough people to man the property, because he had to have hidden the weapon. But nobody wants to pay attention to shit that's obvious. 15 minutes. Hold on. Let me see. Because that's a long article there. 15 minutes. Hold on, everybody. Let me see. They only got this one article, and it's so long. I'm trying to find something shorter. Let's see what they're saying here. I don't know. Too many different versions. Too many versions.
And who opened fire on former President Trump over the weekend at his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The spokesperson for the Secret Service telling Fox News that the shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, was perceived by the Secret Service as a person of interest when law enforcement saw him acting suspiciously and determined he had a golf rangefinder. He says Crooks was only identified as a threat when he retrieved the weapon and climbed onto the roof, and that a threat requires a, quote, different protocol and a different course of action. Do want to talk more about all...
So that's where this is a problem. Where was the weapon? Why did you let him in? Rangefinder that's used for hunting, such and so on and so forth. But also he had a detonator. You didn't know what that was? Whoever checked them in? Say what? And if you didn't know what it was, you should have called somebody over. Hey, I need you to come check out this device this young man is carrying. Who was the person that checked them in? A private security company or actual law enforcement? Police department, sheriff department, and or state trooper. Why did you allow him in?
All of this, so let's bring in Brian Boyd. He has more than 30 years experience as a professional intelligence analyst, counterterrorism specialist, and law enforcement professional. He's also a former Green Beret and was part of the leadership of the Joint Special Operations Command, which oversees the Special Forces, SEAL Team 6, and the Delta
Donald Trump,
Force.
he can't even get down the stairs.
Resume right there. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'll give you my best help.
Of course. All right. Well, I do want to talk a little bit about the comments here from the Secret Service as they say that first, Crooks was a person of interest and then considered to be a threat right before all of this happened. So can you break down the difference there between person of interest and threat?
A person of interest and a threat is sort of parsing a suspicious person in normal layman terms. It does require different protocols, but I think even a basic cop was taught or has been taught that if somebody has some sort of reasonable suspicion,
exactly,
as opposed to being able to arrest it, it's not a problem to stop and ask questions and seek information or to go up to them, because this whole security thing at that perimeter, there was stronger security of going through with purses and backpacks and stuff like that at the entrances. This guy is already in the area, and they had more than enough suspicion, more than enough reasonable reasoning to stop and ask him questions or go up to him and say, hey, let me have some identification. Who are you and why you're here? That wasn't done, and I find that to be the basic breakdown there.
Yes, it is.
And I do want to pull up just some of the video we have. We've been showing this time and time again because it shows the aftermath of the situation as Trump is raising up his fist, and he does have blood coming down the side of his face, and it kind of captures everything that did happen. So my question, and you kind of touched on this, and it's definitely not a simple question, but how does something like this happen where there's all of this law enforcement there, but a former president is nearly killed?
I hate to pass this version on the Secret Service because the agents on the scene did the right thing. Although they took forever to get him off the stage, which to me is a breakdown of a way to trade a situation like that. And having a short agent trying to protect a man, his entire torso and upper body's exposed.
Well, your president, the former president, didn't want to get off the stage. Look at him. He didn't want to leave.
I saw lots and lots of failures.
All of it's ridiculous.
Opinion, this was an absolute security failure. Even a security guard understands the basics of protecting a building or a principal or somebody coming on the area. So it's a basic breakdown. If you think of this as a layman and you're there hours before the president arrived, and you stand on the stage and you look around the area, a normal layman would say, I should have somebody on that roof and that roof and that roof. And before he comes on stage, the agent in charge should be previewing the area, and even if it's a minor threat or a suspicious person, it's prudent to hold off letting him go on stage. You never, ever, when I was in the Green Berets, I was a jump master, and I never let the guys go unless I had the green light. And even if it was a green light, if it didn't look like the drop zone was cleared, I'd tell the pilot to come back around, because it has to be absolutely perfect so that you don't get people injured or killed. And nobody should have allowed him on the stage, even if there was a minor comment or a minor suspicion. The protocol thing is to say, hold off until absolutely everything's clear. And the agent on the scene should have seen there's nobody on that rooftop. Why would you let him go out on stage knowing your snipers are prepared? Maybe.
Well, let's stop right there. Well, sir, from my understanding is that Mr. Crooks had been there for some time before Trump even came out. So he comes in, he's on the radar, they say they lost him. It's all BS. Because that makes no sense to put somebody on the radar and then say, oh, he mingled into the crowd. But you had to let him through. He didn't let himself through. Or you now want to take that back. So what are we saying? Because in order to know about the rangefinder, you had to check them through the metal detector. So did you not check them? Because you're contradicting yourself. Oh, he had a rangefinder, he had this, he's on my radar, but he slipped through and mingled into the crowd. He slipped through because you let him through. There's no such thing as, because it can't be both. It's got to be one or the other. You let him through or you didn't let him through. Or he wandered onto the property some kind of way, past the checkpoint. So did you check him or you didn't? Because all this back and forth everybody's doing is boring as hell. And so this man saying Trump should have never came out on the stage. Well, Crooks was allegedly there hours before he came onto the stage. So that still doesn't make any sense. It's all bizarre.
maybe the snipers could see it, but wasn't there supposed to be somebody on that stage? So we need to see the operations plan that was initially passed before it went on stage.
Good luck with that.
That operations plan should have had a note in there saying it's supposed to be on that rooftop. And that's a hole in their security. This is a top-down failure from the director on down. This is absolute incompetence on the way security is handled.
And moments ago, we actually learned from Fox News that Thomas Matthew Crooks, the reported gunman that you see right there on your screen, reportedly hid the weapon, the rifle that was used in advance of the rally. But
that's what I said.
By the time agents had spotted him on the roof, he already had it. So I guess my question for you is, would that make any sort of difference as far as how folks should have responded there if they didn't necessarily know that he had the rifle and it had been stored?
How did he get the rifle hid? I'm going to let that sit right there. Because it's obvious he had it hid, because if he went through the checkpoint, he would be stupid to carry it through the checkpoint. Who's going to carry a damn rifle through the checkpoint, broken down or put together? Nobody. So how did he get the rifle onto the property? And where did he hide it? That shows a breach right there, that he was able to hide the weapon. So now you got to ask yourself, when did he decide to choose Trump as the target? Number one, he had a 10-day window. Where did he hide the weapon? So that means nobody's been watching the property up until the 13th. So whose responsibility is that, to watch the property, man the property up until the 13th? Because we don't even know when he put the weapon there. So then you're going to have to check his device to see his movements, to see when he was nearby the area to walk onto the property to hide the weapon. So where did he hide it? That's why I kept saying before, that land is so vast, anybody could have walked up from anywhere and made their way onto the property, period. Hid in a tree. That's why I said nobody's really paying attention to the information. Everybody's just so stuck on the Secret Service, but you're not using common sense. If he went through a checkpoint without the fucking weapon, then that means he had the weapon hidden already in proximity of the damn place. So where did he hide it? When did he hide it? How is it that nobody found the weapon before or during this event? So he already mapped out where he was going to be. He's already been over there driving 1 hour from his home, watching to see where they were going to set up. He had to, in order to know where he was going to hide the weapon and perch himself up to shoot. He had already been over there looking and watching and gawking the area, driving by, looking at the buildings, probably doing a Google search, but he still had to touch down and hide the weapon. That you can't do by Google search. You got to go there to hide the weapon. So when did he go to that land to hide the weapon? Did he hide it whole, or he hid it disassembled? What was it in? Book bag, shopping bag, plastic bag, garbage bag? What are we talking about? That's what you should be talking about right there.
Ahead of time, does that change anything at all?
Again, it's all about sweeping the area. Over the years that I've spent in the law enforcement industry and in the Green Berets intelligence work, it's normal to constantly sweep and constantly sweep. You check, you recheck. You check, you recheck. When you're parachuting, you check, you recheck. Because it's too late once the chute is open, and it's too late if you haven't swept the area thoroughly. Pointing fingers at the state and local police is absolutely wrong. Ultimately, and absolutely, the agent in charge of that scene and the director of Secret Service, the buck has to fall on their desk. Blaming the locals for it is failure. They should have swept it and been absolutely extra thorough. I think they became complacent and assumed, like all the other Trump rallies, it's always been a peaceful love fest.
Right.
And I just believe that's what they did wrong.
Yeah. Nice area, small town.
The Secret Service obviously coming under fire here for that response, and she's expected to testify Monday before Congress. What do we expect to hear from her? Do we have any idea?
No, and Having been inside the government over the years working for defense, justice, and treasury, I've been interviewed by the Washington Post in my office many times. So I always promise them to be open and transparent and clear because I need the help of the press. I don't need the press to be my enemy. And the press actually gets more information than all the spies in the world because we get more of our intelligence from open sources historically. So I believe what she should open up and say that I'm responsible. We made some mistakes. I promise this administration and I promise the committee a thorough and open and thorough investigation of what went wrong. And that should be the way she should open her statements. I'm surprised and appalled because all my friends have been calling me from the Secret Service and other agencies saying, why didn't she step up right away and answer it when she was confronted at the convention earlier? She should have said to these congressmen, I will give you an open and thorough investigation instead of blowing them off saying that she's here to support her team. She should admit to the Congress, I will answer all of your questions thoroughly and I promise a thorough investigation. And they would have stopped hammering her like a bunch of hornets, but she didn't say that.
And I do actually want to play that because you mentioned we do have some of the video that.
Well, let's go there. What should happen to Ms. Cheatham? Should she step down? Should she be fired? Should these people be reprimanded, moved around? Should they be dismantled? Should they be fired? What should be the protocol for the director and the people who were there with Mr. Trump? Does he trust these people? Does he trust the system itself? Lots of questions, because as I was talking to the person who was on my panel, my guest earlier, just because he's working with them don't mean he trusts them. He just don't have a choice unless he wants to hire some outside people. And I definitely don't think that's a good idea. So should she have addressed the media at the convention? Or should she just have said what she said? This is not the time to answer any questions. Because my thing is, if she had addressed them, I don't think they would have stopped asking. Because we already know how news reporters are. Once you open your mouth to answer one question, they're going to come back with another one. So even if it's just one reporter standing there, got you cornered, if you answered, she wouldn't have been satisfied with that answer. Because I've seen it done with the Milwaukee mayor Monday. He had nothing to do with what happened to Butler, and they kept asking him the same damn question over and over and over Monday afternoon. I was just mortified listening. He repeated the same damn thing he repeated Sunday with all the other people on the panel. The chief of police and the RNC coordinator from the Secret Service. They all did an interview, Sunday? And here he is Monday standing outside, and you're going on and on and on about what happened in Butler, knowing damn well he wasn't there and he can't answer anything about Butler. So that's why I said, if she had started talking to this woman and answered the question about responsibility, accountability, she still would have kept asking her damn questions. It wouldn't have stopped right there because she would have had her cornered. She'd have kept on asking other stupid questions.
That came in from Marsha Blackburn. So I want to pop that up really quickly so we can give it a listen, and it kind of tells the story of that confrontation.
Brief intermission. See, one thing I've learned about people, everybody complains and moans about stuff, but you're never satisfied with the answer. So it wouldn't have mattered what answer she gave yesterday, today, whatever. They wouldn't have been satisfied with that. I can tell you that right now. They would not have been satisfied. Oh, sorry about that. Shucks. I got that bad. Hold on, everybody. Me and this volume thing.
For her team. She should admit to the Congress, I will answer all of your questions thoroughly, and I promise a thorough investigation. And they would have stopped hammering her like a bunch of hornets, but she didn't say that.
And I do actually want to play that because you mentioned that. We do have some of the video that came in from Marsha Blackburn. So I want to pop really quickly so we can give it a listen, and it kind of tells the story of that confrontation.
running the fire. Director, we will prove you. You need an hour out. You have a suspicious person. At 5:51, according to the timeline of your deputy, you identified a potential threat. And then at 5:53, you told, or someone told, that the sniper didn't stand with. Can you give us an explanation? Why will anyone allow president to go on stage when you know that you've got a potential threat and you've got snipers that are trying to talk to them? I don't think that this is hung up on. We're just smart enough to make it true.
Listen, we can find a place to go right now. Look, he's gonna try to make her go somewhere.
No, we're going with you.
They're gonna follow her. Look at them stalking her. What the hell? Good Lord.
I see no real explanation there. She just says,
we're going to go with you.
And then we know that she is going to testify
narcissism.
Before Congress on Monday. You can see in the video.
Straight narcissism.
After her and asking her, tell us what happened, trying to get a clear answer there. So hopefully we'll learn a little bit more about what happened as we do see that testimony on Monday. But back to what we're discussing here.
Let's keep it real. No matter how you weigh this, she wasn't there. You can say she's responsible. You can say the league was responsible. But in the end, she wasn't there. So she's probably just as baffled at what happened Saturday as anybody else. Like, damn, what happened? That's why I said what I said. Who signed off on this place? Because we already know that Donald Trump is headstrong. You can't tell him nothing. I'm going to bet somebody told him, I don't think this is a good idea because we don't have the manpower. So once again, I'm going to say it again. Did somebody tell Donald Trump this place is not a good idea because we don't have the manpower? So we now have Secret Service saying they told the police they didn't have the manpower and the police told them the same thing. So who the hell went back and told Trump this ain't a good place, this ain't a good idea? And then he go ahead and say, well, I don't care, I want to do it anyway. Because if he did it, he was a fool. You don't go into the belly of the beast knowing you don't have things up to par. So if we want to blame the Secret Service, people want to blame the Secret Service, that's your prerogative. My thing is this. If they told Donald Trump we don't got the manpower, he was a fool to go there. Because I wouldn't have gone. Knowing there was not enough Secret Service and or police to man the ground. That's just common sense. That's just like going to war. You don't initiate war or go to war knowing you don't got the utility, you don't have the manpower. That's dumb. You can't just say, well, we're going to rope off this amount of space right here and expect the few little Secret Service people to work that little bitty space. That's not even logical. Because right now, we don't even have a head count of how many Secret Service people were even present. And I haven't heard that yet either. And we'll probably be mortified when we get that number. We'll be mortified when we get the number of people that was working from the Butler Police Department, Sheriff's Department, and how many state troopers were there. It's obvious it wasn't enough. So no matter who you want to blame, there was not enough people on the ground to man the crowd, to man the acreage. Because in the end, that boy hid that damn gun somewhere. So when you find out where he hid the gun, that's a whole nother can of worms. Well, how did he get over there to put the gun over there, wherever over there is? Because I don't even know where that is. That's going to be more jacked up. And as you hear this man speaking, you got to keep sweeping, 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 sweeping. That's why I'm saying it's too much land and circumference to sweep. For all we know, he hit it a damn near a mile down and walked it while he was there and walked back with it. And nobody knew nothing until he scaled that damn wall and got on top of that roof. See, we don't even know where he hid the damn weapon. And that's important. It's very important. Because that means the land wasn't swept. And that's why I said, when you look at how big it is from an area view, he could have took the gun in a plastic bag or anything and hid it in a tree. And hope they don't find it over here. Because in the end, it wasn't found. That's the point. It was not found.
We now know that prior to this rally, the U.S. had actually uncovered a plan by Iran to assassinate Trump. So security had already been increased, beefed up, whatever you want to call it. But the fact that this was able to happen despite concerns over that Iranian threat, does that just make it all even more difficult to believe?
Absolutely. But what's embarrassing and appalling, and it makes me angry internally, and it also, I find it professionally unreal to even see this kind of ineptness. To see somebody who can climb up on a roof. This is daylight. It's open. It's not dark. It's not camouflaged. I don't believe there was any overhead drones or helicopters. I've been to some of these rallies myself. That's typically there to pervade the scene of any threat. All of that was missing in this basic training security 101. There was nothing there to prevent that. I can't blame the local cops because they are local cops. They're not experienced and sophisticated in this sort of thing. And I doubt they went to the Secret Service Academy to be trained. So when you see this, my opinion, and I say this carefully, it doesn't really matter the motive of the shooter, his background, what he did, what he planned, all that. It tells you that anybody, any amateur, could climb that
That's
roof
the point.
and done that same thing because the range on it is shorter than the basic training of an infantry soldier private. That means anybody could have done this because of that hole in security.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter if it's sophisticated, an amateur, or a kid with a slingshot, for God's sake, or a BB gun. That's the thing that bothers me the most. I'm not so much worried about this guy's motive. I'm concerned that the security was absolutely lapsing, and that anybody could have climbed that roof and done that with it. So there was no observation. I mean, I'm speechless when it comes to understanding how that could happen. It meant the people on the scene didn't do their security work. There's no blame on the local cops, although somebody...
Well, let's go here. If we're going to go this far to say anybody could have done it, which he is anybody, who's to say they couldn't have mingled into where the regular people were sitting in the chairs and just pulled the gun out and just sprayed the room, sprayed Mr. Trump from inside of where the people were sitting in the chairs? Because we really don't know how everything was set up with those little, metal gates and stuff. But if he got checked, then that means he was able to maneuver in with the people where you could probably go where the chairs were. Because how could it not be? So my thing is, if he was checked, then he could have ended up right over there where people were standing and sitting in chairs and just pull a gun out once he found it. But I don't know. Because I don't know if he had to assemble it or what. And naturally, he wouldn't be able to walk through with an assembled rifle. Somebody would have floored him, jumped him. But the point is, he was in there. That's the point. And he was able to get on the roof with the weapon, a regular person. So as this man is saying, Mr. Boyd, the motive doesn't really matter. The point is, a regular civilian was able to breach security, get into this area, get his weapon and scale a building and exact chaos.
It's like the guy climbing on the roof. Think of it this way. The police officer that climbs on the roof sees the shooter and ducks down or falls down. Now, what would be the protocol if you were a police officer? Would it be normal to fire a round in the air to cause distraction, to make everybody duck because of the sound of a gunshot? Maybe the cop would have got fired for firing a round in the air.
Yeah.
Any type of warning that would have been instantaneous would have made a difference. Because if the police officer got on his radio and tried to do it, the delay between him, his dispatch, and the connectivity at the communications center, finally to get to the earpiece of the agents on the stage, That time delay caused these shootings and the death of a man.
Very good information there. So when the guy fell off of that building after making contact with the shooter, he said the shooter pointed the gun at him and he fell down. What did he do once he hit the ground? What did he go do? Who did he speak to say there's a shooter on the roof? How long did it take him to get to somebody to make contact with Secret Service to say, there is a guy on the roof, I just made contact with him? What is the timeline in minutes?
An injury and a near death of a president. So the communication breakdown was enormous, and the officer could have done something different. I'm not going to blame him, but had you and I been in uniform and a police, would you not have shot at him? Well, I can't shoot a guy, but I would have said a warning shot. In the Army, we would have done a warning shot to warn the guys to duck and run.
Wow.
All right, Brian Boyd, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and provide some perspective there.
Put
Still
that
a
on
lot
a
of
poll.
questions, and hopefully we'll get at least a few answers on Monday during that testimony. Is there anything else you want to add about any of this before I let you go?
Well, my career historically has always been a phone call, somebody asking me to start an intelligence unit. It's just the irony of my background. When I got out of college and I got out of the Green Berets and went into the reserves, I always got a phone call saying, hey, we had this problem. Can you come in and become an intelligence chief and fix it? I did it for 3 different agencies. And I even did it as a defense contractor when there was a plant for the Gulf War. I got dragged back in then when I was retired. But the point is this, it takes intelligence failures and things like this to shake up and reorganize the system. Unfortunately, that's the way the world turns. A lot of our intelligence agencies historically, going back to the OSS, were based on foresight. But since then, it's always been an intelligence failure or major operational failure that causes change. So out of these congressional hearings, there has to be change. There has to be change about the way the Secret Service is structured, the way they do their protocols, their resources, and the way they need to probably be moved into an executive position with the office of the White House instead of being buried in a new bureaucracy called Homeland Security. Before that, they were direct. You know, they used to be in Treasury because their role as Secret Service is to arrest counterfeiters. And the difference is when there's a thing like this occurring, they have to immediately turn over the investigation to the FBI. That creates another convoluted bureaucratic mess. I think they need to make change. It's going to come out of the congressional hearings. And then hopefully we'll understand how this kind of debacle and security failure occurred.
Right.
Well, systematic failure. Director blamed. Miss Cheatham. Being approached by Miss Marsha Blackburn. You'll be Marsha's from Tennessee. Marsha Blackburn, if I'm not mistaken. She's aggressive, is she not? Damn. Woo, Lord have mercy. Damn near jumped the woman right there. Following her around. We'll follow you. See, that's how narcissists act. We'll follow you. We'll go in a separate room and talk. Well, she don't want to talk, obviously. She just told you she didn't want to talk. So you're going to tell her you're going to follow her to a room. You're going to make her talk to you. See, that type of behavior right there is asinine. There's a time and a place for everything. She didn't want to talk about it right there. That was her choice. Just because you're a senator and all that does not mean you are any more special than anybody else. She don't want to talk there. She don't want to talk. And bet she don't say anything so she don't trip over herself and say something that she ain't supposed to say, to where she got to retract her statement, which she's already had to do that because she's getting information from other people. So it's best if you don't really know the appropriate thing to say and you don't have all the factual information, it's probably best you be quiet. She's got to go before the committee next week. I'll bring you that commentary, an update. What is going to happen to her and her position? What is going to happen to the people who were there on the ground? The chief of police for Butler, he's been adamant, got a little rowdy himself. I feel like my guys did an exceptional job. But everybody's passing the buck and blaming the other one and saying who's supposed to do what. To me, it's all around messed up. But you hear this man saying, well, it's all on the Secret Service. You can't blame the police because they're not in their position. They don't have their expertise. Well, obviously, some will judge and say, well, Secret Service didn't have expertise. I think it's a matter of they didn't have enough people. But I don't think there would have been an adequate enough people, in my opinion, because that's the whole point. What's an accurate number that would have been sufficient enough to keep a shooter away? I don't think there would have been an adequate number because it was too vast, the land. Too many ways to get on the property. Too many ways for people to sneak on the property. You're talking about 360 degrees, west, east, north, and south of a way for a person to have made their way onto that property. And I think that's obvious because he hid his weapon. So how many people would have been sufficient enough on the ground? Because we don't even have a head count of Secret Service people and police and state police. We will wait to see what they tell us, how many people are on the ground manning this rally. So number one, does Mr. Trump trust the Secret Service? Number two, is he leery about going out in public again? Will he go out in public again? What's going to happen to the Secret Service members who were there? What's going to happen to Mrs. Cheadle? Miss Cheadle, what's going to happen with her? Is she going to eventually get fired, step down? What? What is she going to say next week to the committee? Will it be enough? Will she take responsibility, apologize, bring a proposal to the table? Where was the weapon hid? Will we find out more information of an itinerary and who else was on a list? Did he have a list? Why was he searching all these people? Because to me, it's too many people so far mentioned that was in his devices. So it looks like to me he was looking for anybody to exact harm. I don't think there was no specific person that he had a problem with. He just wanted to pick somebody that it would draw attention. So naturally, killing a politician would draw a lot of attention. And I do believe he thought he was going to get away with it, go to work, sit back and revel in his handiwork, but he was not afforded that opportunity because he was unalived by the Secret Service. We hear mentioning about a slope, roofing. We also hear that they were in the building, police. Then we hear that they weren't in the building where the shooter was. So once again, conflicting information. I don't even know if you're going to even get to the truth of what the hell happened July 13th. We'll just wait and see. This is a 5-part live. Thomas Crooks, Riley Strain, Taylor Casey, Bianca Ellis, and Monica Williams, bringing you all updates to court appointments and hearings pertaining to these individuals. New Riley Strain video released pertaining to the bars that he attended in Nashville, Tennessee with his friends. Police believe he fell over a rail to his death. He allegedly died of alcohol poisoning. Bianca Ellis, her lawyers say she's not competent. The judge has ordered a state review of her mental capacity. August, we will get a rendering if she can stand trial or not, and find out what a state psychiatrist finds wrong with her or whatever her situation is mentally. Is she mentally unfit? Does she have some type of mental disorder, schizophrenia, bipolar, dissociative personality, or she's putting on and faking? We will see. Monica Williams has been charged with first-degree murder of Miss Anitra West. Witness in the car says nothing happened at the Church's Chicken. She got dropped off with her child by Monica Williams, and Monica left. She doesn't say where she went, just said later she went out to get food, which makes no sense. Because you didn't say you stopped and got food after the Church's Chicken. So I believe this woman is making up stuff because she don't want to be an accessory to murder. She don't want to have to go to court to testify. And Ms. Williams' lawyer is saying he wants the case thrown out because there are no witnesses. So that means somebody is not talking pertaining to what happened at Church's Chicken, which is devastating because now we're seeing people not wanting to go to court, maybe because they fear for their safety. They have to live in Memphis. I get it. It's a violent city. But you can't get justice if you're not willing to stand up and tell the truth. So will it be thrown out, the case? I got a feeling they have surveillance of something at Church's Chicken. And I don't believe she left and came back. I believe she did what she did when she was there, got out of her car, Because what you have to ask yourself is, why are you getting out of your car to argue with a person in the drive-through window? And then you're going to jump back in your car and leave and then come back and then kill the person? That don't make any sense. Because how do you know the woman was going to be outside? It's all BS. That girl don't want to tell the fact that she was in that car when Monica shot Anitra West. Some people might think it's more than just about chicken. Who's to say? Because you don't know people. But she does have a violent past. She attacked an 8-month-old woman at her car, and they fought, and she stabbed her. And that woman says she believes that the baby daddy, her baby daddy, set her up. So obviously, this woman was already there lying in wait when she showed up to get allegedly money from the baby daddy, and then she jumps out of nowhere with a branch hitting her window. Some type of nonsense. That story don't make any sense either. Just a bunch of nonsense with all these stories. Because that story don't sound right. How do you go from being in your car to jumping out fighting? You had to have gotten out your car. Same thing with Anitra. You go outside to cool off, allegedly, and then this woman pulls around and shoots you. Why would you go back outside? Why would you even go outside if you just had an altercation with somebody in the drive-thru window? That makes no sense. Some people still believe something happened to Riley Strain. You're entitled to your opinion. And then we have Mr. Thomas Crooks. Not much information. Who is he? Did his parents know he was ill, mentally disturbed? Did he date, have a girlfriend, friends? What? Has he been holding in anger since childhood, high school, mad at the world, vengeful? Was Mr. Trump his target? Or he was just a given opportunity to show the world he could take the shot, show the world he was important, validated, wanted to be known for something big, great. The post are saying it's a fake. That's not his account. So I want the FBI to make up their mind. Is it his account or not his account on Steam? Because this will not look good. You all have been doing your digging, and now you got to retract your statement that it wasn't his account. We're going round and round with this case, and this is just looking bad. Really, really bad. I want to thank you for your time. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. Drop your comments below my shorts, my community posts. Take the polls as well. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $McAngie, 129 Cash App, stickers and chats always welcome during the live stream. Thank you so much. Say what? Okay. Well, thank you all so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay hydrated. Stay cool. If you can do something kind for someone in this terrible, terrible heat that we're having around the United States, take them something, some nice fresh fruits or bottled water. Do something kind. Help them out with an air conditioning fan, because we do have extreme temperatures right now. And also prayers for the homeless, because this is not the time to be outside sleeping, because even at night it's still sticky and humid in most places. You all have a wonderful weekend. You have been listening to The Vault XL. Thank you.